But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
With the rocket or whatever, but it could be fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
All right, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? This is the show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Well, before we talk about that, let's talk about when this show rolls. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And what are those aforementioned things we cannot talk about? You know, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We talk about consciousness, we talk about all kinds of things because, of course, well, we're really off the beaten path of conversations. And, well, because don't you get tired of sidling up to the water cooler and asking on a Monday if your colleagues have seen any good movies over the weekend? Yeah, me too. Me too. So I think some of these conversations that we have are larger in scope, right? Larger in complexity, larger in thought, and I think this is the type of thing we need, just as in generally speaking, as a species, as you know, as an imaginative, magical species. And I mean that because, you know, there's so many things in this huge universe that are not easily quantifiable. And as one of those things, well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into consciousness a little bit tonight and what that may mean. And do you think science actually has a handle on this? Or do you think it's something that maybe science is never going to be able to touch? And although they seem to get closer and closer with every passing year, do you think one day it'll actually be possible to just download your consciousness and put it into a robot or something to that effect? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's up to you. I have no idea what's going on with that, but that's what's on my mind tonight. Like I said, a nice little bit of easy conversation for a Monday night. I hope you guys are feeling good. All right. So this show is live. This show has always been live. And if you want to be part of the show tonight, we are streaming on Facebook, D Live, YouTube, and Periscope, which is part of Twitter. And we are also broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And if you want to give us a call, really simple. The phone number is here, and you can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And you can find the phone number there. You can find the Discord link there. Join the Discord if you have not. Also, join the Discord at fringe.fm/chat. It's one program, one Discord program. It's just two different chat rooms. Lots of smart people in there. If you have not joined that, please do. Come say hi. All right, so that's what's on my mind tonight. I was going to do some more FBI stuff and, kind of some normal conspiracy type stuff. And I was like, we just did that. We just did the CIA on, I think it was Thursday, right? So I've got some FBI stuff that we'll talk about as well that I kind of hinted at in the CIA show. If you guys have been listening and following along and paying attention, there's a lot of shenanigans happening with the FBI. So we'll get into that later this week. I'm not sure which day. I've got everything's all prepped up for that show already because I went overboard and prepped two shows today because I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go. But I think it makes more sense on a Monday here to kind of lay off the propaganda and maybe let's take a trip into the human mind and, of course, the human soul. And that's what we're doing tonight. So as we get going, as you know, this conversation is nothing without you, and this radio show is nothing without you. And so I appreciate your input on this tonight. And so before we begin here, the larger question in my mind is this. So regarding the science of consciousness and the soul itself, do you think that science one day, even one day soon, or maybe one day never, that's up to you, of course. I want to know what you think about it. But do you think that they will ever actually home in and be able to scientifically dictate exactly what human consciousness is, and then be able to boil it down to whatever it is and download you into an R2-D2 type robot or something to that effect? Or do you think this is God type stuff? Do you think this is such a large question that science has no chance given a million years? And I'm of two minds about this, of course, because I think science is a very, very good thing, but I do not like how it's politicized. Of course, I've talked about that quite often on this show. So I don't know. I think there are some things in this universe that people aren't meant to know, and I think there are some things that need to be kept mysteries. And so that doesn't mean I believe we should not try and figure these things out. Of course, we should. But I think actually coming to a general consensus of what human consciousness is, I think we have a different conversation, right? So anyway, like I said, my secret weapon is I don't have any insiders. I don't have nobody from a three-letter agency feeding me information. Matter of fact, I'm probably shadow banned on many places on the internet. So my secret weapon is you. And basically, like I always say, the wisdom of the crowd can beat out the wisdom of experts. And I believe that to be true. And so the more of us get together and talk about these sorts of things, I think, like I said, this is not really the truth show. We're not trying to get to the bottom of things here. It's more the question show than the answer show. But I do think that if enough of us are asking the same, or let's say the correct questions, the same type questions, and maybe facing in the same direction, I think at least the truth itself may become clear, at least directionally. It's speaking in abstracts here, but you get what I'm saying. So anyway, as we get going tonight, now the thing is this. As usual, you guys know me, this starts with an article, right? It starts with something that came out recently, because I like to keep everything topical, at least when we begin. And then we can go back and delve into history and delve into some philosophy and delve into your phone calls. So let's start with this. Now, this is where this began. This is from theconversation.com. And the headline reads this. This is pretty dense. So if you guys are not into science and quantum physics, well, I may have a lot of explaining to do, if you know what I'm saying. But that's okay. So here's the headline: Can consciousness be explained by quantum physics? And yeah, it says right here, my research takes us a step closer to finding out. And, you know, like this is the type of stuff I love because, well, sure, fine. This could be right, the next step. This could be where we're headed. This could be where we need to be, and you know, to who knows, maybe be able to, you know, move into that transhuman future if you think that's where we're going, or you think that's where we need to be, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not at all. But this is written by Christiane de Moraes Smith, professor of theoretical physics at Utrecht University, UTRECTH. I probably said that poorly. But anyway, let's read just a little bit of this. And this is fascinating to me because, like I said, it's human consciousness is not an easy thing. Right? Like go back to the very first musings of something like this, and right, what is the difference between myself and you? What makes me me, and what makes you you? Right? It's a simple thing. It seems like a simple question, but I don't think the answers here are simple at all. This is simple questions have incredibly complex answers sometimes, and where you may be able to frame them in a simple way, the answers themselves are, well, let's say. Big, large, very large. Anyway, let's read some of this, and you'll get where I'm coming from tonight. One of the most important open questions in science is how our consciousness is established. In the 1990s, long before winning the 2020 Nobel Prize in Physics for his prediction of black holes, physicist Roger Penrose teamed up with anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff to propose an ambitious answer. They claimed that the brain's neuronal system forms an intricate network and that the consciousness this produces should obey the rules of quantum mechanics, the theory that determines how tiny particles like electrons move around. This, they argue, could explain the mysterious complexity of human consciousness. Penrose and Hameroff were met with incredulity. Quantum mechanical laws are usually only found to apply at very low temperatures. Quantum computers, for example, currently operate at around negative 272 degrees Celsius. At higher temperatures, classical mechanics takes over. Since our body works at room temperature, you would expect it to be governed by the classical laws of physics. For this reason, the quantum consciousness theory has been dismissed outright by many scientists, though others are persuaded supporters. And so we'll read a little bit more of this as we go. Let me mark my spot here so we can get back to this. But the thing is, right, it's a little bit dense. I understand. I get it. If you're like, oh, geez, Mike, what are we going to do tonight? Well, it's some of this is dense, right? So of course, when we talk about quantum mechanics, right, like there are advanced concepts like superposition, meaning that the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, meaning that they can't really on the quantum level determine one exact place where a particle is going to be. All right, and what that means is that it may be in two places at once, all right? And this is part of that the double-slit experiment, the particle-wave duality, and all that stuff, right? I've done a show in the past on this, and it is kind of dense stuff. If you're not really into like the science of this, I can see how this may turn you off. But we are kind of pointing at a larger question here. And again, what is that human consciousness? And is it connected to the soul? And do you think scientists will actually narrow in on what this is eventually? And that's what's on my mind tonight. Like I said, a light, easy conversation for a Monday. So why the hell not? Let's do it. But okay, so then we have superposition, okay, in the quantum world, which is, again, a particle basically in two places at once. It's the old Schrodinger's cat. Is that how you say it? That whole bit, right? Is in the box, is the cat alive or is the cat dead? All right. Well, superposition would mean the cat is both alive and dead in the same instant. It's just you have to, right? Once you observe and open the box, you either get your dead cat or your alive cat, right? And of course, this is not clearly it's an allegory. This is metaphor. This is a cat in the quantum world, right? In quantum sizes, okay? So, all right. So as we continue thinking about this and exploring this, this is what's on my mind tonight. It's a little bit weird, right? It's a little bit strange. So we have this the observer effect, right? Which means that this whole double slit theory, which is just bizarre, just crazy sauce, that in the quantum world that we could have actual particle or wave, depending on whether we're actually observing this or not, right? Again, like I said, some of this stuff is dense, and that's fine. It's all good. I'll try and explain it the best I can. I'm not a scientist. I've just read a ton about it and done shows on it. And so, like I said, you learn a ton of things doing a show like this because you dig into things probably, deeper than your elbows, right? You kind of get messy up to your shoulders sometimes because you're digging to the bottom of the trash bin trying to find some amazing things. And, well, they're there. They exist. So, okay. So now with this, right, we have not only do we have these concepts like superposition, particle wave duality, we have other things like quantum immortality, right? And so it's been suggested, and it may be even a known scientific thing at this point, that energy doesn't dissipate, it just changes forms. And so, that's been used to describe maybe how the soul ascends. It turns into something else, right? Or maybe that we become a different light being, as it were, right? Instead of this meat suit, this whatever you want to call us, this clay and mud that's been animated, as it says in the archaics. Texts, tomes of old. Are we instead this light inside of us? Is that the actual us instead of this clay, this flesh and blood, these meat suits that we walk around in? And like I said, kind of big questions for a Monday, but what the hell? Why not? I'm feeling it, and I had a nice nap, so here we go. Let's do this. But you get it, right? You understand what I'm saying? The question tonight is this. Do you think that science will ever quite get a handle on what human consciousness is? And of course, that would be the science of the soul and all the rest of these things. And if so, how far do you think away it is? And or kind of like I've suggested, do you think it's just not possible? Do you think there are some things out there that people are not supposed to know and should and will remain mysteries forever? So, all right, so this paper, let's get back to this now. What they're describing here is that as we've said in the past, right, we know that the brain can do amazing things, and that we just don't really know sometimes where this stuff comes from, right? This deja vu stuff, or maybe we've talked about things like, telepathy, or ESP. We've talked about things like this, or maybe remote viewing. And so the question really turns into kind of a larger, more metaphysical thing, even when you start with the scientific conversation. Because, well, where do we go from here, right? Where is our brain, and is it part of this magical piece of the rest of the universe through this web of connectivity of everything, or are we, again, just meat suits, and when we pass, we pass? As depressing as that is, I think there's a lot of people that believe that to be the truth, that we got this weirdness of we lucky mud, right? We evolved and we're here, and then when we pass away, our spark is gone from the universe. I don't know. Like I said, big questions for the night, but I'd love to hear what you guys think on this stuff. So here we go. So after Penrose and Hammer Off is what we were talking about. Quantum mechanics, and the quantum computers operate at around negative 272 degrees Celsius. So it's suggesting that there's like a quantum state in the brain, and they're going to be able to find this out through, we'll get to fractals in a little bit. But if they're going to be able to find this out, do you think it's possible? And do you think we're even close? I think that's the question. So here we go. So instead of entering into this debate, this individual decided to join forces with colleagues from China, led by Professor Jingmin Jin at Shanghai Jiatong University, to test some of the principles underpinning the quantum theory of consciousness. All right, so let's see. What do we got? All right, so in our new paper, which we've got the paper here, I'll link it in just a sec, we've investigated how quantum particles could move in a complex structure like the brain. But of course in a lab setting, so they're not taking apart people's brains to do this. So if our findings can one day be compared with activity measured in the brain, we may come one step closer to validating or dismissing Penrose and Hameroff's controversial theory, which of course is that is there some sort of a quantum working inside the brain? Are there things at the quantum level happening in the human brain that are of course tiny, like minuscule, in that quantum world that are really making us who we are? And is that, as they say, right, the devil's in the details, or the as it were, the what's the other term? Not the devil in the details, but I hate to slide the devil in there. Yeah, Lucky. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? I see you in the Discord chat. Lucky Mud. I've heard that term used, and I think it's cynical as hell. But that's the evolutionary basis. Is that if you follow that scientific rabbit hole, it's where we've been described as lucky mud. And I don't know. That's like I said, it's a little bit disheartening, cynical and disheartening to me. But anyway, I'm open to all those things. I think the conversation is a large conversation because it's huge in scope. What is human consciousness? And not only that, do you think it's connected in our brain to this quantum world, right? And so not only do we have, like I described, quantum entanglement, we have this double-slit test, the experiment they did with particle wave duality. We've got quantum entanglement. There's tons of stuff here that could really explain some of the hocus pocus, right? Or some of the spooky stuff that happens, as Einstein said, spooky action at a distance. And I don't know. I think that, to me, the questions are, like I always tell you guys, the questions to me are probably more important than the answers, because the answers in many cases to the things we talk about on this show are just based on you. Like if you ask a complex question to 1,000 people, you're probably going to get 1,000 different answers, and that's good. I think that's a very good thing. But, if you say, is this apple red? You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're talking about here. You're going to get, everybody's going to check the red box except for the colorblind people. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, as we talk about this tonight, that's the question. That's what's on my mind. Do you think, so first, what is human consciousness? Second is, do you think that science is close to understanding this consciousness of our brain? And let's even just throw it out there. Is our consciousness in our brain at all? It could be in our heart, it could be in our gut, it could be, right, just the entirety of energy in our body. I don't know. Again, I don't have the answers to these things. But I'm posing the question to you guys tonight. And what do you think? What do you think consciousness is? Is it linked to a soul? What happens when we pass away? All this stuff, right? It's all kind of interconnected, because if you can somehow basically quantify and bottle consciousness, we're talking about immortality, are we not? Because then, of course, you could reconstruct a biological duplicate of yourself, or a clone, as it were, or a biomechanical duplicate of yourself, and then just transfer that consciousness into the new entity, right? Into the luckier mud, as it were, because it gets a second chance. So I don't know. That's that's what's on my mind tonight. And we've got this paper from theconversation.com, and they're talking about our brain actually being part of this quantum world. And is this exactly what's going on with some of the unexplained things in our head, right? I think that's probably a good way to start this out tonight. I don't know, but as you know, I'm not the answers guy. I'm the questions guy, and we're going to keep asking questions. And so if this is a little dense or heavy for you guys tonight, I'm sorry. We'll get to some other stuff tomorrow night. But I think for now that we're going to stick with this, because it's too late to change my mind, and that's what's up. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, we are asking exactly that question. Do you think that science can eventually quantify human consciousness? If so, do you think it's soon? If not, do you think our consciousness has anything to do with this quantum mechanics and, the rest of everything else in the universe? All right. If you want to be part of the show, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Looking to hear from you tonight. What do you think? What about human consciousness? What about the soul? What about quantum mechanics? Do you think any of this stuff is related? Or do you think I'm just barking up the wrong radio tree? I love it. 702-957-1037. That's 957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Looking to hear from you when we come back. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming live on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls tonight, and we're discussing consciousness, the human soul. Do you think that science is close to quantifying these complex thoughts, things, fields, as it were? Or do you think these concepts are so large they will remain mysteries for 1,000,000 years or more? That's what's on my mind tonight as we discuss the brain and quantum mechanics, and is there some sort of link into the quantum world through our brain? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the answers to these questions, and as I've always said, I think the questions you ask are probably more pertinent than the answers that come about, because it makes you think. It makes you wonder from point A to point B what's in between. And as cliche as it sounds, right, it's about the journey after all. It's not about the destination, because of course the destination can always change, can it not? And meaning the answers. Your answer last year may be different from your answer next year regarding the same question. And just depends on your knowledge base and all the rest of that. So anyway, we are taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And you could also be part of the show by joining the Discord at troubledminds.org. Go to that's the official website. Discord link is on top. The phone number is on top. All the podcast stuff, all the social media links. You can't miss it. It's all there. Let's go to Daryl in New York. What's up, Daryl, my friend? How are you tonight?
Numbers on top. All the podcast stuff, all the social media links. You can't miss it.
Hello.
It's all there.
I'm going to mute you for just a sec.
Go to.
Can you, Daryl? Can you mute me? Because I'm hearing myself back through your stream there. You're on the air.
Sorry. For just a sec.
I know what
All right. Giving it just a sec. Doing some mute dancing to keep us on pace here. All right. How's that? Anything? Anything?
Turn off.
Just a sec. Doing some mute dancing.
Just turn off the stream. Turn off the stream itself. Okay, so we're waiting for Daryl to turn off the stream here, but we're looking to hear from you guys. So we'll go to Daryl in just a moment. 702-957-1037 if you want to be part of the show. Daryl?
Okay.
I
think I turned off the YouTube.
Perfect.
Did I turn off the YouTube stream?
Sounds great. Sounds great. Welcome to the show, Daryl. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Happy Monday. What do you think about...
Thank you. Happy Monday.
Thank you. What do you think about these, large thoughts, I guess? I think that's probably a good way to put this tonight.
Well, I had a lot of thoughts about this, like from reincarnation, near-death experiences, collective consciousness. When does it begin? Does it begin when you're born? Does it begin when you're in the womb? Does it never stop? Does it never end? What happens when you have Alzheimer's disease? Like, what kind of consciousness does that person have? Or is their consciousness still buried inside of that cloudy brain? What happens when your brain is damaged? Your brain is damaged.
Right?
Get it?
Yeah. No.
Brain is damaged. Brain damage.
Exactly. I'm with you 100% there. And so there are a lot of questions. Good stuff. Like you're taking it in ways I hadn't even considered yet. But so with all of that, what do you think? Do you have a theory here of what consciousness and the spirit and all the rest of this is, or are you like me where you're just as confused as everybody else?
Totally confused, and also I'm always going back to the conspiracy of mind control and remote viewing, and what happens when there's some kind of they're working on maybe controlling people's consciousnesses, and can we do something, if so, with our collective consciousness to change the events of today, let's say, to try to really think about it, if we can use our minds to, in a war, let's say, a war of minds. And is that the way we're going to fight this war? Is it going to be with consciousness? Is that what this is all about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like maybe, right? Because we always talk about the whole brainwash battle for our gray matter inside our head to make us believe things that may not be true. So I think you may be right. Maybe kind of ascending those generic, human things will make everything clear. I think that's a good point here. Is that maybe that's where the battle here lies.
And supposedly there's so much damage to people's blood-brain barrier with this vaccine. Maybe that's their. This was all like on purpose to make us weaker in our minds. Maybe they're trying to, nail the part of our brain that has consciousness so that they can control it more. I was thinking about that. That's really evil on their part,
Agreed.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this their agenda?
It seems like maybe, doesn't it? It seems like maybe. I think probably a more terrifying question than the one I asked is, what happens if they get there? What happens if they can actually bottle your consciousness? I think that turns into a more terrifying conversation, doesn't it?
It looks like they've captured half of the world's consciousness because we're buying it. People are buying their agenda is working. And this, if that wasn't their intent, it definitely looks like it was. I mean, Fauci's talked about this, how you can control the media, you can control the people, and then the people that are investing will follow. That was his words exactly, that he's been quoted as saying, that is public knowledge if they listen to it, I mean, I've heard that more than once in the last few days, for sure, that he's written that in an email. I think you mentioned it on one of your shows, if you don't remember.
Yeah, and there's a lot to that whole the elites trying to turn us into things we're not. I think that's again part of the war that you described there, and part of why regular people like us need to get together and talk, because we're trying to untangle all the hate and all of the partisanship and all the BS, right? And if and so you notice, right, just as an aside here, you do notice that the reason they're cracking down on social media and our ways to communicate with each other, a channel like this on YouTube may get taken down because they don't want us talking to each other. It's as simple as that, right? If you're talking outside of their given narrative, well, you're become an enemy, are you not?
Well, they were talking about interrupting our SMSs and text chats to each other, to our families, to our friends. They wanted to start censoring that, but then it was like, just kidding. Did you hear that? That was like today, I think, they were mentioning this. That Biden had a plan to interrupt our text chats and our emails even to each other. So that would be another interruption of our privacy as well as, communications. And I think that's another act of war when you start, breaking down someone's infrastructure. That's a big one, is communications. Imagine if we didn't have the internet now, that we're so dependent on it. What would we do without it? Is that our consciousness now? Is our social media? And what would we do if we had to come down to, just sending, hopefully they won't interrupt our emails or our snail mails at this point. Would we have to resort to snail mail to communicate? Or would we have to resort to telepathy or snail mail? That might be our only two options. If we don't have the telephone, if our telephones are going to be monitored, how will we talk to each other?
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. I've been watching this show on Netflix called Turn, and it's about the spy ring for George Washington back in the Revolutionary War, based on a true story. And you know what they're doing? They're smuggling around messages in shipments of regular cargo written in invisible ink. So maybe history repeats itself. That's how we're going to have to communicate. Snail mail with couriers and invisible ink. Strange.
Or pigeons, carrier pigeons and dolphins.
There you go.
That's another option.
I love it.
Raising pigeons.
and of course, right, you know that's how they do it in the highest levels of government. They don't put it on a computer server because it'll be hacked. Things are delivered by, secure courier, and they do burn bags and the rest of that stuff. So maybe we'll have to resort to invisible ink on the internet or some other way. We'll find a way. But, okay, so do you think then that science will find a way anytime soon or ever to maybe quantify this consciousness? Do you think that they will be able to put this into that proverbial bottle? Or do you think that's impossible?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the next biggest thing that we're going to have invest in, that we can invest in and make a lot of money on if you get in early in the game. It might be the next newest. There's something coming out, technologically speaking, that's going to change humanity in a great way. That's what I heard. And I wonder if this could be it, something to do with our consciousness. That would be something that's marketable and you could buy and you can invest money in, that you can, maybe it's downloading information or removing information. I'm not sure. Maybe it has two ways about it. But they're into something big technologically speaking, and I just wonder if that could have something to do with consciousness, because everybody's talking about consciousness lately.
Yeah, it sure seems like it, doesn't it? And it wouldn't surprise me if they found a way to maybe through advertising, right, tap into that consciousness. I think that's part of the war here, part of like the Alex Jones info war, as it were. But yeah, crazy stuff. I think that, again, I don't know the answers to these questions, but it is worth considering that our consciousness is under attack, and in many different ways. We got to keep on trucking here. I got stuff to get to. So what else while we got you on the phone, my friend?
What was I going to say? Oh, just subliminal stuff. Like today I was listening to this fellow that does the patents for all these viruses. His name is, Dr. Martin, I think his name is. I don't know if you've seen him lately. I'm sure I posted something in the chat about him. But he was giving a speech. I found a new speech that I didn't hear before. And he was talking, and while he was talking, I have like the teleprompter, because I like to read what I'm listening to as it's going on, because I don't always hear what they're saying, so it's good to just read it so I kind of don't miss anything. And every other word was disability, and he wasn't saying the word disability, but it kept on popping up in between every sentence. And I was wondering, is this some kind of subliminal stuff that is being fed on the teleprompter to me? Like, what is that? He didn't say the word once, but it kept on popping up in between every sentence.
That's bizarre. Yeah. And who knows? And that's the funny thing, right? So are we at a point of everything's incompetence like this, or everything's sinister? I don't know.
I don't know. It's scary, though. I was wondering, like, God, they're interrupting his speech, and they're definitely, I'm sure they want him to shut up, but he knows so much, and he's totally reckless as far as what he's talking about, but he knows everybody. He knows where they live. He knows what they bought, he knows everything. And he could be the biggest whistleblower next to the guy that made the mRNA virus that's also talking a lot. Those would be the two that can really change things. They can really change the game of what they're talking about if everybody would listen to them, that is. It's just getting people to listen. So many people are so unaware of what's going on. I just can't get over it.
It is unfortunate, but that's why we do the show. That's why we get together and talk about these things, so we can share ideas. Daryl, we got to run. I appreciate the call. Thank you, as always, for listening. Thanks for all the thoughtful chat. Thanks for the amazing calls.
Okay, have a good night.
Thanks a lot. Daryl from New York. Great stuff. There you go. If you want to be part of the show, you can jump into Discord just like that, and you can be part of this. We are taking your phone calls tonight. We have a phone number up. We have a Discord up, and you can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and you can join the show at troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and then just jump in the caller queue once you get in. Simple as that. Make sure to unmute yourself, and we'll put you on the show. But so tonight we're discussing consciousness, and science has now suggested through this paper, which we'll get back to in just a moment here, that through the quantum world, maybe our consciousness resides there through this quantum entanglement, through this superposition, through the particle wave duality, through quantum immortality, things like this, right? Things are actually operating differently on the quantum world, and that quantum world actually resides in us as particles, and the way you get smaller and smaller, right? So you got to wonder if some of the woo, some of the weirdness, some of the strange things that happen with humans and superpowers, as we've described, maybe remote viewing, things like this. You got to wonder if maybe it is just nuts and bolts science, and that we're able to, maybe through, say, quantum entanglement, reach out to places far, far away with no travel time. And so I don't know. Like I said, this is a little bit odd to me, these big questions and where they lead us, but I think they're worth talking about, worth considering. So we'll keep on trucking here talking about this stuff and looking to hear from you. If you have theories on this, concepts, if you want to talk about any of this, let me know. 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. And let's read just a little bit more from this article. So again, what started this conversation in my mind tonight is from this website called theconversation.com. Oddly enough. And the headline again, can consciousness be explained by quantum physics? And then this individual, Christiane de Moraes Smith, says, my research takes us a step closer to finding out. And so not only that, she gets into some interesting things that she calls fractals. All right. Now, fractals are a real thing, which we'll get to as we scroll down the paper here. Hold on. Let's see. Where is her paper? All right. So anyway, let's just continue reading a little bit from this paper, and we'll keep on trucking tonight. There's a lot here to consider, and so I know it's kind of big concepts, including large concepts with tiny implications in the quantum world, right? Because the quantum world is beyond tiny. So here we go. So let's see. So instead of entering this debate, this individual joined forces with her colleague in China, Professor Jinmin Jin at Shanghai Jiaotong University, to test some of the principles underpinning the quantum theory of consciousness. In their new paper, which I'm going to link to you right now, and if you guys are super into actual scientific papers, well, congratulations. You're a better person than I, because they tend to put me to sleep. But I do like how they're no bones. There's no woo in these papers. They're just trying to cut to the chase and get to the science. And so this is exactly what's going on here. We got some good comments I'm going to read from the chat. Like I said, keep the chat coming, guys. I'm reading everything as much as I can. But there's only one of me, so I will do as much as I can here. Lacey had a fantastic comment here, which Lacey, first-time caller. We talked to Lacey on Saturday. What's up, Lacey? Said this. This is in the Fringe FM chat. I do not like the idea of science pinning down the totality of soul consciousness. However, I do like science being able to prove the woo is real. I think it opens up more minds and hearts, and I couldn't agree more. I think the more we get into a bunch of things like this, considering just the larger questions and what science may be meddling with, right? Kind of getting into the principles of what the creator may be, right? Like as they've described before with the Higgs boson, calling it the God particle and things like this. I don't know, just like the more they get into controlling, well, I guess you could say physics, or right, the lucky mud that we happen to be, as the term goes. The more you can control the biology of like an entity, like a human being, I think the more dangerous this becomes. And so, of course, if you can bottle consciousness somehow, you can remove it through this quantum, whatever this quantum world they're discussing, how the brain may be kind of linked up to this. I think we have like larger and more scarier implications. Like I was talking with Daryl there, is that once they can chop all this out and kind of just cut to the chase and genie in a bottle your consciousness, well, there's bigger problems, right? I mean, this is exactly what they're going to try and do, and I think that's what's going on. It becomes a pain in the butt, and probably worse than that. And that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what we're considering. And I don't know. Like as you guys know about me, I'm not here trying to make you believe anything. You believe what you want to believe. That's probably the most important concept to me regarding all of it. Like, you as an individual have the right to believe what you want to believe. And collectively, we have the right to also be wrong, by the way. You don't have to fall in line with some political dogma and march on the the ballot box line of these jerks just to prove you're right? Because clearly that would be not right at all. So anyway, that's the most important thing to me, is you guys think for yourself. You guys consider all of these things and take it to heart or don't. But let your mind wander, and it is definitely good stuff. So from this paper again, so they're discussing, is there a brain link between our consciousness and this quantum world? And is our brain sort of using this quantum world as this, what would you call it? Like a field, like maybe an entry point into these larger concepts of the woo, as it were, right? Of things like ESP and things like, right? Things like this, things like all that stuff that we always talk about. What's that? The Farsight Institute, Courtney Brown, remote viewing, things like this, right? Is that all just a scientific basis type thing that is linked into our brain at a conscious and tiny level? So I don't know. We're still talking about this and thinking about this, but and taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. What's up, my friend? We got about 3 minutes, but you're welcome to hang over after the break if you like. What's on your mind tonight? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, doing very well, thank you. Happy Monday, sir.
Happy Monday to you. I got some proposals.
Sure.
I think that it's possible that there is no universe, there is no Earth, there's no planets, there's no us. That downloading, that really what there is what's a mass internet, cosmic internet. All right, and you've heard stories of people who have done astral projection, and there's a silver cord that they often see that connects them to their meat suits. Right, that silver cord could be that internet. What connects that internet to that meat saw, to the brain, and downloads daily, or frankly every second, every nanosecond of your life, what you see, what you feel, and the life that you're experiencing, the things, what's there now, all right? Which would mean that we're living in a virtual reality, right? Then when people pass on, of course, that internet signal, that silver cord separates and then connects to a new meat body and downloads that consciousness from the old. All right? Now, here's how DARPA, I think, could probably figure out consciousness. In order for DARPA to solve consciousness, it must hack the silver cord. If it succeeds, it will permit DARPA or government or military or whatever forces to hack your reality and change it. And it would actually be like the final step of the Great Reset. What is the final step of the Great Reset?
Control? Control.
Virtual reality.
Oh, yes,
That's
okay.
the final step of the Great Reset. So if they could somehow hack that silver cord, which is creating your consciousness, which is creating your world as it is now, all right, then it can change it. It can alter it. It can make you live a different reality.
I'm with you. I understand. I'm sorry we're out of time. Do you want to hang on after the break?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd like to hear your response to this.
Okay. Talking about the silver cord. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you, Robert. Thanks for hanging tight. All right. You are listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're talking about consciousness tonight. We're talking about larger concepts of maybe the war for your consciousness, the soul? Do you think science is close to achieving this, or do you think this is God-type stuff that humans can never touch? If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org. Phone number and the Discord link is there. We've got Robert on hold. We're going to go right back to him after the break. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds, Consciousness, and You when we come back.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We're talking consciousness tonight. Do you think science is close to bottling your consciousness like a genie in a bottle? Or do you think it's something that's impossible, that it's God-type stuff and will never touch in a million years? That's what's on my mind tonight, as some scientific papers have come out linking the brain to quantum mechanics and describing how possibly one day, through fractals and quantum entanglement and immortality, maybe we'll get there. I don't know. I don't have the answers to these questions, which is why we talk to you, and because you guys are the secret weapon of troubled minds. The truth is closer when we get together and discuss these things. So thank you for that. We are streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope, broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show. But let's go right back to Robert, who's been waiting patiently on the phone. Welcome back to the show, Robert. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm listening to you talking about the search for immortality. And that has to be something that, it's like the elite think about. And it's not because they want to live forever. It's because they don't want to die and leave what they have behind. Because when you go in and you're reincarnated, you can't reincarnate your wealth. So that's really their motivation there, is to prolong life, even to become immortal, so that they don't have to leave their goodies, their toys behind, which really comes into what their personalities are often like, is just selfish and narcissistic.
That's what got them there in the first place, right?
Well, they really you can't attain that kind of wealth and not be evil. You really can't. You have to be narcissistic, sociopathic, whatever. Especially when you attain it, you're never satisfied. You always have to have more and more and more and more and more. Even if you have to reach into the poorest person's pocket on the planet and take what nickel or dime they've got in there. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. But that's the only way I can see that they could hack consciousness. They have to somehow hack the transfer of information that comes from the cosmic internet into our heads, into our brains. All right, that's where the connection is. They'd have to hack that. All right, and if I can be honest, if that can be done, they probably already have figured it out. And maybe that's why some people go off and do some horrible things. because just like you can hack a car, all right? Everybody's driving a car these days if it's 15 years, 15 years or younger. The car that can be hacked. All right. There's a famous reporter who was going to report on something about Petraeus or something like that in the Iraq War. I'm trying to remember his name. And suddenly, he said, I have to go into hiding for a little bit. All right. That was his last message to his girlfriend, or rather his wife. And suddenly his car accelerated, something like 110 miles an hour. He ran off the road and hit a tree. The car exploded. Somebody hacked his car. I've often wondered, remember all those Toyotas that were suddenly, the acceleration started happening, it would suddenly go into acceleration and there was no way they could control it?
Yeah, I remember. Right? Yep.
And yet Toyota tore these cars apart and couldn't find where the malfunction was. All right? Our government can be terribly evil, especially when they want to learn something and they want to test something. And I'm wondering if some of these crashes with these, and there's always Toyotas, some of these crashes with these Toyotas were deliberately testing, were just tests to see what they could do. And that's how that journalist got killed. It's possible. All right, so they're, like I'm saying, they're hacking car. They want to hack us, and the only way they can hack us is to hack our consciousness. All right, and the only way they can hack our consciousness is they have to connect. They have to hack the cosmic internet. All right, they have to hack what's being downloaded to us and change it. And what really is sends the short hairs of my neck going up is that's the ultimate goal of their Great Reset, is to put us all into virtual reality, which is what that would do if they could hack into our consciousness.
Agreed. And I think that's where there is a war for that going on, and I don't know exactly where this is going to head because we are resisting. I think that's part of it too. Somebody in the chat here said that the soul, Richard said the soul is resistant to that type of meddling. So I wonder how long this is going to go on, right? Like at some point they have to brute force their way into our consciousness to take it over. Yeah, but we are resisting like hell. There's some of us out there that are going to go down kicking and screaming, and it's not a good thing. Let's get back to your silver cord theory, though. Can you reiterate and explain that one more time, and then I'll give you my comment on that?
Well, like your wireless internet, you can't see the signal coming off your router. All right, that's connecting you to the internet, the computer, the hard drive. All right, but it's downloading information. Every nanosecond. I'm saying that just like that, the silver cord, which is, if it separates, you die. But the silver cord is like that. You don't see it. All right. It's an invisible, wireless device for downloading from the cosmic internet, because that's probably what really runs this whole thing, and to begin with, is a huge internet, and our cosmic internet that's downloading information every nanosecond. It creates your reality. It downloads it through that invisible cord into your hard drive, which is your brain. All right, it downloads the software that helps you see your reality. It makes you experience the reality that you're experiencing now. An example, some people see things that other people can't see. All right, I remember some years ago, quite some time ago, and before I was married, I was dating this girl, and she was absolutely convinced that she walked into a place with her mother, and there were demons in there. All right, and I mean, there was no swaying her from it. She wasn't crazy. She absolutely was talking about something that she saw. All right, in her reality, in her brain, the cosmic internet is sending her this reality to her. I could probably have walked into that same house and not seen a thing, because my reality doesn't accept demons as even, anything that really exists. Some people actually experience alien abductions, all right? And it's all real to them. And it's in the reality that's downloaded from the cosmic internet. Others will never see a UFO or experience anything of the sort. And if they don't believe in that stuff, it's more than likely they won't, because your reality is your belief system. And that's determined by what's being downloaded onto your hard drive in your brain from the cosmic internet. Your reality. Your reality is different than my reality.
That makes sense. Okay, and so you're describing this silver cord as the connection to that. It's sort of that wireless connection between us and whatever reality we are considering ourselves to be in. Whatever we're manifesting. Is that how you're describing it?
It's the pipeline.
Okay.
It's the pipeline that creates all of our experiences. Excuse me. It's just like I said, the wireless signal that comes off of your router. We're all connected to a cosmic internet, which creates our reality, and that's what DARPA and the government wants to hack. And if they ever hack it, they're probably going to regret that they did, because they're probably going to destroy themselves if they really succeed in pulling that off.
Yeah, which is the ultimate heist, right? That's the ultimate heist. If you can control the minds and hearts of the people, then you've truly taken over. I like it, man.
Well, I have a funny feeling that the cosmic internet doesn't have much of a sense of humor for that sort of stuff, and may decide to take action, because if they do it, all right, it proves, it reveals all the secrets that we cannot know if we were to be able to navigate through the reality that it's downloading into our brains. So the cosmic universe would probably take defensive actions against something like that. Trying to be, trying to hack it.
Yeah, I got you. Like sort of kind of a built-in defense system that's going to kind of try and cast that out. I'm with you. I think that, and I think that's
because the cosmic universe is an intelligent entity itself. When they talk about like God knows everything, well, that's God. That's the God that knows everything, because it creates everything and it downloads everything.
I can believe that. I buy you, man. Good stuff here. As usual, Robert is a good, old friend of the show, and you got a book out. You want to tell somebody about that real quick before we let you go?
Well, it's just a bunch of 21 science fiction, fantasy, some horror stories, some humor stories, a couple romance stories. I just don't know what they were. They were in other publications over the years, and I just collected them all together and put them in that book.
Nice.
Right? But what I'm most proud of is that one story I keep badgering you about, creation, because if anybody reads that, I'm not saying it's 100%, that's the way it is, that's what reality really is. I'm not saying that, but you can't read that and not sit back and say, there's probably something to that. There's something to this signal across the universe, all right? That the projection from the edge of the universe that creates our reality, which I'm proudest of that story, because I think it's the most likely situation to explain just the nature of our personal reality and how that all comes about.
Gotcha. Okay. Everybody check it out.
Pretty good. Those other stories are pretty good too.
I'm trying to plug your book for you, my man. Everybody check out Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert collection. Robert, we got calls behind you.
Mind on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
There you go. Just trying to help you out, my friend.
I got some good reviews.
Got some good reviews. There you go. All right. I appreciate it, man. We got calls. We got to go. You're the best, Robert. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call.
Talk to you later.
Have a great night, brother. Bye. There you go. Good stuff. Check out his book. He sent me a copy. He sent me 2 copies, actually, and I'm reading it. It's very good stuff. All right, so we have a lot of phone calls. Let's just go straight to them. We're talking about consciousness tonight. Do you think it can be bottled with this scientific thing they're talking about, where there's some sort of like fractal connection between the brain and the quantum world? And, well, maybe this is the next step of hijacking our minds. So let's go to Beechwood in Massachusetts. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing awesome. I think it's a good topic. I had a few points to bring out. I know the listeners are going to help me out with this first one, or maybe you even know about it, but it was like a scientist, I think it was 1800s, and he had a scale, and he used to weigh people like right at the moment when they died, and he came to like this conclusion that the soul, I don't know, weighs like 14 grams or something. Like the body would lose weight right at the point of death, and then he would test it with like dogs, and nothing would happen. There would be no difference. But, with consciousness and capturing it, human beings have already captured it. We've already captured it naturally. A way to capture it artificially, I think it'll be done eventually. I think it's what they're going for. But, like with doctors and like scientists, they don't really know where like the personality comes from. Why, like we're the same body, we have different tastes, people like different sounds, people like different smells. Some people think some things look good. Like, we're all unique. But with consciousness, we can invite ourselves into each other's consciousness. Like, for example, if I had never ever called your show, I wouldn't exist in your consciousness unless you went out on your own and found out who Beechwood was and just looked at him. So now that I called you, you exist in my consciousness and I exist in your consciousness. And have you ever heard the term like you really die when it's the last time someone says your name, the last time you're remembered?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I look at people like the way that some people are unhappy with their consciousness and who they are, and they try to idolize somebody else. And some people are very charismatic, and they're able to manipulate other people to their train of thought. Not 100% specifically, but basically follow them, change their way of thinking. And then we look at, like, through history, look at all the statues, the monuments, the way that we keep some historical figures alive. We have dead people on money. They'll never die. Like, their souls will walk around forever. And maybe that's a way to, keep yourself around, is to be in other people's minds. But,
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Like, it's a two-way street, right? Their consciousness doesn't work one way. It's an invitation process, and we are constantly allowing people in and inviting others. And I like that, man. I really like that. The guy you're talking about, by the way, is Duncan McDougall, and I had, as you would imagine, I had it pulled up as part of the conversation tonight. It's called the 21 Grams Experiment. And he did, as far as I read here, that he determined that on death, one of his 6 subjects lost 3/4 of an ounce, or 21.3 grams, and he tried to say that was the weight of the soul. And of course, it's a small sample size, and people came after him, and it wasn't true science and all the rest of this. But there's the guy. I had that pulled up, ready to go. So you're out there reading my mind, Beechwood, and it's creepy. It's creepy, brother.
Absolutely, we're connected forever, consciously.
There it is. There it is. And the invitation is open. I appreciate it, man. So do you think then, in terms of like we've been discussing tonight, do you think that it is possible that they can hack this some way, somehow, that we're going to be able to, through science, be able to take whatever is in your brain or my brain, and even the connection we have together, and bastardize that and turn it into something else, steal it from us entirely, or something like that. What do you think? I do, but I think it's only going to be like a 99.9%. I think there's going to be like that little tiny 1% variable. But overall, I'd say yeah. I'd say yeah, and possibly like they probably already like have or are in the process of it, like along the lines of like mind control and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say yeah. So all right. Quick
awesome
thought.
Show. That's all I got.
Thank you. Quick thought for you before I let you go. Night Stalker said this in the chat. I want to read it to you and everybody else. He says, nightmare scenario. You're at the end of your life, going into the light. All of a sudden, you're sucked back out and wake up trapped inside a robot body. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That would be it, wouldn't it? That would be it.
That would be it. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. We'd have to exhaust all the resources to turn ourselves back into humans.
Right, exactly. They're able to steal it from you at the final moment when all your defenses are down because you're expecting to cross over, and bam, welcome back to the world, R2-D2. Start serving drinks. Oh, jeez. No I appreciate it, Beechwood. Anything else while we got you on?
No, that's it. Just it was an awesome show. I like the calls, and I think lately your show's been going great, man. Like I said before, I think it's going to blow up. But yeah, that's all.
Thank you, man. That's very nice. And as you being part of it, you're gonna help us blow this up together. So I appreciate it. Beechwood from Massachusetts. I appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Thanks, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, man. You too. There you go. We're talking about consciousness tonight, and we're talking about, do you think that, through this article that we're discussing, there's a way into the quantum world through our brain? Do you think that there's some sort of connection there with this quantum entanglement, quantum immortality, the double-slit test, right, the observer effect, all these things? Is it possible that our consciousness is tapped into the universe, per se? And number one, and then number two, we're discussing, do you think it's possible that scientists will ever be able to quantify this consciousness or spirit or whatever you want to call it and bottle it? And as much as Night Stalker suggested, maybe in your weakest moment, suck it into a machine to send you out into the world, serving mankind as a machine. Good stuff, Night Stalker. That's an amazing comment. Reading all the comments, guys. Keep them coming. I appreciate it. We've got a couple more phone calls on deck that we're going to take, so hang tight. Looks like we got Jennifer, and I'm not sure who else this is. I'll get to you guys in just a sec. Oh, Mr. Mission Control. You guys hang tight. We're going to get to you in just a moment, so please be patient. One commercial break, and we'll go right with you. Go right to you. All right, so here's the thing. We're discussing all that and more tonight. As always, open-ended conversation, wherever you want to take this. Whatever it triggers in your mind, that's what I want to hear. So try and keep it on topic-ish, but don't feel constrained by exactly what I'm saying, because this is how conversations are had, and this is the way we do them. So as we finish up this segment, well, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More about consciousness and you after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we're talking about consciousness. We're talking about science. We're talking about the quantum realm. Do you think there's a link between the brain, our consciousness, and the quantum realm? And is science close to cracking this equation? That's what's on my mind tonight. We're streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, Periscope, broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We've got some calls ready to rock, so let's go straight to these patient folks that have been nice enough to wait on us, and let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike. Okay, so on topic, the soul consciousness may be, explained through quantum physics as science. So going on that same kind of topic, I want to step back a little bit and kind of get some perspective on why they're even saying this. I mean, what are the implications of science being used to explain the soul or spirit? And is science not becoming, but is it a religion of sorts? Many people would say no, some would say yes. But a topic previously only discussed by religion and philosophy suddenly being talked about by science is very intriguing, I think. And if it is some kind of becomes something, because they're talking about the soul, scientists, quantum physicists, talking about consciousness and soul, do these scientists and physicists become like priests almost? I mean, are they going to be the new priesthood? And then, is quantum physics real or a faith? And when you get into that, and I have a little spiel, it won't take me very long, but, quantum physics comes from Werner Heisenberg, who created the uncertainty principle, which is the fundamental limits of accurately measuring with absolute precision any principle in science. And quantum theory is based around this uncertainty principle, and quantum theory itself was created by Max Planck, who was a Lutheran Protestant. His great-grandfather, his grandfather was both theology professors. And Max Planck said, the faith in miracles must yield step by step before the steady and firm advance of facts of science. And its total defeat is undoubtedly a matter of time. So he was saying, essentially, that science would, almost like by destiny, have to replace faith in miracles. People would begin to have faith in science. And this is the father of quantum theory, as well as Niels Bohr, who claimed that he was primarily a philosopher and not a physicist. He studied philosophy, which he claimed to be more so than a physicist, under Harold Hosting, who was a friend of his father's and a Danish theologian. And this Harold Hosting was also heavily influenced by Kierkegaard, and this man also wrote The Philosophy of Religion. And then finally, I've noticed, people think when they hear that science says this, or science now proves this, that it's absolutely true. And I can say right now that I just proved to you that's not true. But yet anyone who hears it is because we've been programmed since children to believe this, and it's no different than a religion. It's no different. If it's proven by science, it must be true, and that's not so. And if you look, the heliocentric theory, because in the past, science has changed many times. And in the past, you have Copernicus, who created the heliocentric theory, and he was Catholic canon, basically a priest, though later they went to persecute Galileo for that. Anyway, why they created heliocentric theory anyway is really bizarre. Then you have a priest who created Big Bang theory. A lot of people don't know that, but a Catholic priest, a Belgian priest, created Big Bang theory. And then many Catholic priests were globe makers, and there are 244, I'm sure there are many more, renowned Catholic scientists. A Catholic scientist worked on CERN. He also helped them develop the Delphi program that they're doing with the Large Hadron Collider. So you see, these people are involved. These are religious people, priests, who are scientists why now? I guess it's the way what I want to end with. Why now are they trying to explain the soul? Why are they delving into things of the soul and consciousness? Why are scientists talking about this? And I think that we should all be asking ourselves that. And that's it. I just wanted to run over that.
Yeah, I think you're right. So notably, in that entire thing you said, all of that is true stuff. You are on the ball here. But I think what you're getting at, and I agree with you, is we're creating a new priesthood. And it's infallible, right? Very much like they wished the religions of old were infallible, but there's so many different ones. There's, this many billion people believe this and believe that. But if you can break all of that down, the mysticism, and like you said, the miracles and those things that are not quantifiable by science, then you can bring about a scientific priesthood. And when you do that, like we're describing, it is a way to crack into your mind and always more control. And I think you're right. I think you're onto a whole bunch of amazing stuff here. That the
and
more.
It's weird about the fact that
go ahead.
they're doing it now. That's really odd that they've chosen this time. They've built slowly, methodically towards this. So yeah, Mike, I totally think, yeah, possibly. Go ahead.
The new priesthood, yeah. And that's something we kind of don't really talk about too much on the show because, we end up in so many different places, which is amazing. But I'm glad you brought it up because I think very specifically, like Beechwood was saying, it's not even really about discovering what our mind is about. It's basically discovering what it may be for that control mechanism, for that final piece of the puzzle in the control mechanism. And just like you described, the new priesthood is science. And if we can't question science, well, then what can we question? And we just become a new level of slaves, don't we?
Yes. I think it's, they feel like this is a time that they must come up with something. Well, they believed it way back then, that it's inevitable that, religion will be replaced by science. So the religious people themselves believe it. I mean, like I said, Big Bang Theory was created by a Belgian priest, and that CERN is being worked on. Those are not conspiracy theories. You can Google that. Anybody can Google that. And it's unbelievable. Why would these religious organizations, I'm not religious, I'm not even really spiritual, but why are these religious people, or church canon, basically, whether Protestant or whatever, why are they delving into these topics, and why have they done so in the past? Like, what is the motivation of the church to tear itself down? To tear itself down with Big Bang Theory, globe making, heliocentric world, CERN? Why are they even doing this to themselves? You have Protestants and theologians creating quantum theory. That's where it comes from. It comes from people who are religiously minded, and people aren't noticing that. They just think science, and they think scientists, atheists perhaps. Not so. These are Catholics, Lutherans. So it's really mind-boggling. While they're replacing their own religion with science, and they're teaching it to us. And we're being, this is our new religion, for people who don't need a religion. They have science. They say that all the time. And it's really unusual. And I don't know one way or the other. I don't care one way or the other. But I'm just curious about what they would be doing with this. But that's all. I mean, I'm going on, but that's the last I wanted to say. But,
yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Let me add before you go to, let me just add to that. So I think what you're describing is if they had not tried rebranding, right, which is I think what this is. It's because the old control mechanisms are failing. And so if they allowed it to go without a rebrand of their own volition, we would have tore it down anyway, because there's a lot of lies. There's a lot of a lot of problems with a lot of these big religions that are obvious. And so if they allowed it to continue, we eventually would have tore it down as a smart people. Eventually, the war on religion is there. It's a thing. But I think you're entirely right in that not only is it a war on religion by the establishment, I think it's a war on religion from the religious figures in the highest echelon of power themselves. Because if they get to rebrand into science, then they still get to remain in the top spot. Like, look at the Catholic Pope, right? He's like the most WTF Pope ever. He's like the most non-Pope ever. And he's like science, aliens, global warming. You're like, what? Where did this guy come from? But you're right. I think you're onto him. You're onto him, Jennifer. They can't get away from you.
It's odd.
It's odd. It's odd.
I'll talk to you later.
Fantastic call as always. Thank you so much. Have a good night. There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff from Jennifer in Missouri. So now that's the thing, right? I'm glad she brought that up, because we're in that spot where as these things form and change, who's doing it? Who's behind it? And if you rebrand religion into this scientific priesthood of sorts, and we're still the plebs, right? We're still the ones being controlled, then what? Right? Then you can't question science as we're learning, right? Like, go open a newspaper, go fire up anything, go fire up any news source right now and just click on the news and see what's going on. There is a war on people who disbelieve science, and not even science itself, like bastardized science. That's the thing that pisses me off the most about that, is because they're not even being genuine. They're not even saying the scientific method itself, which is basically what science is. They're saying settled science, which doesn't even exist. You see? The whole thing is a ruse here, and Jennifer's onto him. Great stuff. We're still taking your phone calls. We're talking about this consciousness bit. We're talking about why science is trying to crack into it. Do you think it's possible? Is there some sort of quantum link between our brain, our soul, and the quantum world? And there's a paper that came out to suggest it, which spawned the conversation tonight. And we're taking your phone calls. We're going to go to Mr. Mission Control in just a sec. Do you want to be part of the show? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Troubledminds.org has the phone number and the Discord link. Let's go to Mr. Mission Control. How are you, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing good. What's up? What do you think about all this crazy stuff we're talking about?
It's not crazy. It's pretty simple, in fact. Everybody tries to get ahead and get higher, all the time. You got to do more, experience more, and get a high off of it, or ascend, ascension. The cell, the single cell organism, where we came from, it just tries to get better every time it reproduces or split its cells, and man, religion and science is the same thing. It's just, man, they didn't have touch screen light up flat panels they carried around with them that they only had to plug in for a little while every day. But, I think it all changed with the advent of the interactive screen, and so there you go. But where does that come from, And like I said, like I posted those links earlier, it could come from certain parts of your brain or your heart or something that's an electrical organ. An organ that's got electricity, so you can basically gauge the consciousness level of something by its electrical content, given whatever type of environment it's in. So a positive creature could be negative in a negative environment, or a negative creature could be positive in a positive environment. You see, or consciousness. We talk about consciousness, So there, it's that slit experiment, It's if you don't observe it, it's not there.
Exactly. Right. So that's really the strange part that's going on here. So is there some sort of control mechanism you can tap into if our brain is connected to that quantum world? So it doesn't exist unless you observe that connection, right? That's how this would work. And so if you're able to observe it, then you're probably able to, as Beechwood suggested, or as Jennifer said, maybe hijack it or control this. And I think that's the terrifying part here, right?
Well, to you observe it. To you observe it. It's just in your reality, not necessarily in reality in general, the reality in between two consciousness.
Sorry about that. Hang on just one moment, and phone line dropped. We'll be right back with you, my friend. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm calling it back, and we'll put you on. So sorry about that. Completely my fault. Well, not really, but completely Google Voice's fault. Just a second here, and we'll get you back on the show. So I am all right. So we're here with Mr. Mission Control. Phone line died. We are taking your phone calls, guys. If you want to be part of the show, phone number's up there on the stream: 702-957-1037. What do you think about all this quantum mechanics connection with the brain? Do you think it's a more control mechanism, or do you think it's something else entirely? Let's see where we're at. Let's unpause this. Let's see. Unmute. All right. I think we should be good. You there? You there, Mr. Mission Control?
Yeah. You just did a skip over on me.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't me. The Google Voice dropped. So we're back. So go right ahead. Sorry about that.
Well, the caller before me was pretty educated, but it sounded much like a skit. I could catch you guys for talking to each other, so that was set up. But she's good. She's good. She could swindle the money right out from underneath you, couldn't she? I bet she's pretty too. And she's a talker too, boy. You got to watch out for them ladies.
Hey, easy. All right, so let's talk about you. Let's not talk about.
But that's my,
wait.
my
No.
example.
Hold on.
You
Okay,
judge
hold on.
Consciousness.
Hold on.
You judge consciousness.
Hold on. Wait. I want to be clear. Hold still. 1 second. When you call, you talk about you. Please don't talk about other callers. It's part of the rule here. You can talk about me. You can talk about you. Don't bring up other callers, please. But go ahead. Let's leave them out of it.
Oh. Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're kind of criticizing. Don't do that. Just don't do that. It's okay. All right. So I know it was kind of like it was a sideways compliment, but it's still not okay. So anyway, so back to this. What do you think? What do you think is really going on with this quantum connection? Do you think it exists, or do you think it's a bunch of BS?
Well, quantum connections, anything higher than that, acknowledgement of consciousness is going to require more or less things. It's kind of weird because the higher you go in frequency in consciousness, you lose vision of it. The cohesion of it dissipates. So the higher frequency things are invisible because they're so dissipated.
Okay, so it is an invisible connection of sorts.
You control your consciousness, yeah. You control it, and if you don't, you either need a exorcism or you need a chip removal, or to be like a monarch butterfly or something. Be brought up in monarch mind control program. You got to be deprogrammed.
I agree.
That's
which is why we're here talking about
we got
this,
all
right?
these people wanting to deprogram us, man.
Or you program us entirely. Deprogram us to reprogram us, right? Yeah, crazy stuff. All right. Yeah, it's nuts,
But
man.
they tripped over the left foot. And are skipping now. They're skipping towards the Kali Yuga, and time is up and everything. So we go into a light world of higher frequency, and that's where we're headed. Really, in space-time, in the universe, our solar system, it's headed towards this more consciousness-prone part of the galaxy, and the solar system and everything is getting additions. You see them fly by every day, and fly into the sun and stuff. So, consciousness could come from the sun. We all could be just little star magma fusion plasma balls.
Yeah, again, lots of good theories here. So we got to run, man. We're running out of. You got to go?
I was drifting on. I'll let you go. Yeah, I'll let you go, man.
I appreciate it.
I was just drifting on.
All right, it's cool.
But I think I made my point.
It's a talk show after all. You're allowed. It's okay. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it, my friend. That's Mr. Mission Control 3.0. Check him out on YouTube. Thanks, bro. We'll talk to you soon. All right, so there you go. If you guys want to, we got a few minutes left if you want to be part of the show tonight. We're going to do, of course, a third hour on Troubled Minds. We're going to do Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We'll do a third hour. But we're running out of time here on The Fringe. So if you guys want to be part of the show and have a take on this, great thoughts from everybody tonight. As always, right? Like I always say, smartest callers in the business call into this show because, of course, we're having a conversation. Like I said, my secret weapon isn't anything I do. It's all of the amazing thoughts that come from you guys. So that's what we're still doing. And we're talking about consciousness and this weird quantum link. And as Jennifer brought up, why is science concerned with this anyway? Is science trying to find God, trying to find it through us, through whatever connection we may have with that part of our reality, or is it just another control mechanism to find maybe the portion of the brain that believes in God so they can control it? And I think that's again, as you consider some of the things that are happening with the control mechanisms in the media and all the other stuff that we always talk about on this show, what's really happening out there, right? What is our reality actually? And just as Mr. Mission Control said, you control your reality. And so if you allow this brainwash to come in, I agree with what he said. If you allow it, right, if you don't fight tooth and nail against this garbage, you become a victim of this. And many people don't even realize this war is happening, but this is a war. And some people have called it a spiritual war. Some people have called it all kinds of different things, an information war like Alex Jones. But it's definitely a war, and it's a war for your brain. And I don't like it. I do not like that at all. It definitely makes me mad. All the great comments in the chat, I appreciate it, guys. But remember, this conversation spawned from this article right here from Can Consciousness Be Explained by Quantum Physics? And this research takes us a step closer to finding out. It goes into fractals and all kinds of other stuff. I got the golden ratio to talk about. I got all kinds of stuff. I got that 21 grams, that study. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. 21 grams experiment. Tons of things to really discuss and talk about here as we continue trucking tonight. But as always, right? Please remember, this is not the Answers Show. I don't know the answers to these things. What I do know is I have some hunches, right? And like you, like everybody else, when we come together and talk about this stuff, we have a closer angle to the truth, and that's what this is about. It's not about finding the direct answers. I don't think there are direct answers, but the more you get enough good takes out there pointing the same direction, at least we have a bearing on what truth may be, sort of like a magnetic truth on the compass, as it were. So I think that's probably the best we can get, in my opinion. But as long as you know the way, you know the direction to face, I think that's the way home, isn't it? So there we go. As we finish up and do this, it is Happy Monday. Troubled Minds goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. So we'll be back tomorrow night, God willing. I did duck out of a news show because I was tired and had to take a nap. It's been a long week, but that means that I'll add it one of these days, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So look forward to that, guys. You missed it. I'm sorry about that, but I'll add it. I'll make it up to you. So as we finish, once again, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. The conversation is large, right? And it's in the scope of this, the thoughts that we kind of put out there and the conversations we have are magnificent, in my opinion, and that's why we do this. Open-ended things, big implications, and no answers. No answers. If you're looking for answers, you're in the wrong spot. You're definitely in the wrong spot. But as we wind it up, thank you so much for all the great chat, all the great calls. Everybody out there listening, thank you so much. Thanks for supporting the show on Twitch, all the Patreons. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is the part where I sound like a politician for saying thank you, thank you, thank you. But as we finish, well, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void if you're listening on the Fringe FM. If you're listening on the podcast feed, YouTube, Facebook, DLive, or Periscope, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. And as we complete this final segment on the Fringe, you know what to do. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Guys, what's up? You know the drill. We got a third hour of Troubled Minds coming up, and we got time to talk to you. What do you think about all this stuff? I think we had some amazing concepts come out of the conversation tonight regarding all sorts of human consciousness. Why are the scientists involved in this? Are they meddling? Why is science trying to replace God? Huh. Interesting. And that's what we're here to talk about. What is really going on in the world we live in? And one more hour coming up. We have time for you if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Phone number's up. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we're going to come back with a third hour of Troubled Minds. And we're still talking about quantum mechanics, the soul, how science is trying to meddle between the two, and what the hell is really going on here. So don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds in 2 minutes. What's up, Lacey? Can robots get stoned? That's a hell of a question. I like it. I see you guys in the chat. I'm trying to read all of it. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to continue talking about this. 2-minute break. We'll be right back with more Troubled Minds. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we're taking your phone calls tonight. We're going to continue the conversation we started with this quantum state, whatever it happens to be. Do you think that the brain has a way to channel into the quantum world? And do you think it's, going to be a quantifiable thing by science? I think that's the deal here. And then, of course, as Jennifer stated, I love the theory. Why are they interested? Because, of course, as the Night Stalker said, look, again, so many comments, so many great thoughts. Well, maybe just as you're ready to pass over into the light, you're sucked out of the light, and boom, you wake up in a robot body to serve drinks and be an ashtray, a moving ashtray on Jabba's sail barge. Not cool, right? Totally not cool. Though you could do worse if you showed up as an R2-D2, because he was kind of the hero of the whole Star Wars, wasn't he? So we're taking your phone call, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, get your ass in here. We got Rohan on deck here. Whenever you're ready, Rohan, hop in. We got Matt. We'll go right to you after that. What's up, Rohan? Are you there? Testing 1, 2. Earth to the UK. The mighty Rohan. Do you copy? All right. So, good stuff. Just kind of cruising through the chat here. If I missed saying hi to you tonight, just type in the chat where you're listening from. I'll shout you out now. What's going on, guys? I see you there, Jack. Thanks for showing up. Robert says, Michael Hastings is the legendary journalist who I think was murdered and when the CIA hacked his car and accelerated it into a fiery crash off the road into a tree. Yeah, so the name that came to my mind was Daniel Pearl. So I knew that wasn't right, so I didn't say it. But yeah, Michael Hastings, right? That's the guy? Yeah. What's up, Hawes? How you doing? The Earth is flat. Be back later. What's up, buddy? Yeah, we got a lot of that in this show. The Earth is flat. Be back later. we get a lot of that. All right. What's up, guys? Sherry, star in a jar. I think 2 weeks in a row. We're gonna pin Sherry's comment. Star in a jar. Science is a religion. Good stuff. What's up, Tam? Says, I mean, the soul is different to the spirit. And yes, definitely. And that's kind of what we're talking about here, kind of discussing is there a difference? And if there is, all this stuff, do you think it's accessible through the quantum realm, which is basically what science is kind of hinting at? They think that maybe through these fractals and some of these other things, that it will be possible to actually turn it into, whatever it is, whatever it happens to be. I like the star in a jar. There you go. Are we going to be able to take the star which resides in us, remove it, and put that in the jar? Great stuff as always, Sherry. Sherry's got a way of saying something in like 5 words that I take 3 hours to say. So here we are. Rohan, are you there? Test 1, 2, buddy. I see you in the on air. Are you doing this? Hello. What's up, Rohan? The mighty Rohan. Going? Welcome to the show. Earth to the UK. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
All right. Yeah, because UK's not quite on Earth, is it? No. I like that. Yeah, no, you spotted it.
It's totally alien. I think it's Atlantis. Like if Atlantis comes back up, that's the UK. Yeah. All right, I digress.
It'll be evil Atlantis coming straight from the city of London. Anyway, yeah. No, don't start me off. Don't fucking.
All right, you're good. All right. Like me, don't bring up taxes and healthcare. Got it. Right, yeah. So what? Okay. I'll note it. Don't ever say to Rohan that the UK is less than Atlantis because it'll trigger him. Got it. I'll note it. I'll note it. All right. So what do you think about all this crazy quantum mechanics and consciousness and all the rest of this? What do you think is going on with all this crap?
We'll get this about synchronicities. I happened to watch a Teal Swan video. I think it's today as well, actually. And she specifically said that, or your spirit and your soul are different, but I can't remember exactly how she quantified them as different. And I thought, well, yeah, you got all that. But anyway, yeah, I got a couple of comments to make from what people have said. If you want me to blast through a mic.
Go for it, man. Go for it. This is a talk show after all. We're here to talk. Do it.
Yeah,
Do it, Rohan.
Great, because I'm good for that. I'm good for that, bro. All right, silver cord. When I was a kid, I used to think I was autistic, right, for a while, because I used to always work in certain routes, and what it wasn't that I was autistic. I used to see a thread connected to me, and I was just afraid of wrapping it around the car, and things like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So then years later, when you hear about the silver cord, you're like, what the hell? So I thought that was interesting. Sorry, that's my phone bleeping there.
That's all right. So what is the silver cord then? Do you have an actual theory on that?
Not really. No, I mean, you read it on the Buddhism thing and that, but do you know what I mean? I wondered if I discussed this with some. When I first called into the Fringe, there was a guy that was talking some stuff that had happened to me, and it's crazy talk. And at the beginning he said, don't believe me, but when I called in, he was like, yeah, that's for real. But I talked to him after the show by email, and he was talking about that silver cord thing could be something to do with if you've got a troubled childhood, it's like creating an anchor, so you can't see the end of it, and that's like your secure space that's untouchable. So it could be a psychology thing as well. I just thought I'd throw that in there for a curveball. And the Big Bang as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Terence McKenna, but he always used to say that the Big Bang is the limit case for credulity. And if you believe that, I've got a bunch of bridges I'll sell you. Because they say, think about it. Everything is created in a single moment out of nothing for no reason. It's like science is saying, oh, just give me one free miracle and I can make it all work from there.
Well, can science produce miracles? I guess it can, can't it?
Wow, that's it. I mean, and that's the segues me into the other point I want to make as well, that it's like science has become a religion, and they've got religion down to a science. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've noticed over the decades, it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And I've noticed that science has positioned itself to declare itself as the all-knowing authority on what's real and what's not. Do you know what I'm saying? And now people are literally worshipping them. Especially in the UK, it really stands out to me because of all this pandemic stuff. They literally got the whole nation every Wednesday clapping at like 7 or 8 o'clock to cheer on the NHS, shamelessly virtue signalling. Oh, they're overwhelmed at hospitals, aren't they heroes? And they weren't. They were 3 times more empty than normal. Do you know what I'm saying? And the Bath Cathedral, it's a famous church in Britain. They actually replaced the Vatican flag with that of the NHS, which is representing science. They literally put the science flag above the Vatican flag. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's come on.
Like I was describing earlier, this is like the Pope that is supposed to transition religion into science. It seems like he was perfectly selected for exactly this transition, and it's hard to not consider that that's part of the 2030 goal, right? The Great Reset, as part of all of this, where religion becomes exactly like you said, science and religion are now kind of intermeshed, and they hope the winner is science. And the new priesthood, of course, is going to be what? Bill Gates, who, by the way, isn't even a damn scientist, is he? Weird, no?
But yeah, that's it. The medical overlord with no medical qualifications. Yet anybody else on the planet that makes any medical claims, there'll be, oh no, that you can't make medical claims. That's against, you know what I mean? He's the one guy that can. And the thing is, he's actually never invented anything either. He's never actually done anything, Bill Gates. All he did was cheat his business partners, steal computer code, and create monopolistic practices that he managed to get away with by saying he didn't remember any of the 90s. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the worst part is, again, right? So think about it this way. So we're not allowed, you and me aren't allowed to say anything medical because we're not doctors. Okay? But it's not that at all. Nobody really gives a shit about that, right? They give a shit that we don't sway people's opinion in a large way. That's what they give a shit about. If you were notable, you're allowed to say these things. Well, as long as you don't step to the other side of the line. But look at Bill Gates. This fool can say whatever the hell he wants, and he's not even close to a doctor. It's like, wait, come on, what? Really? Like, this is the world we live in. Tell me it's not the upside down.
I know, and on top of that, Bill Gates, right, this is not me, look it up, decades, right, ever since the 90s when he was known as a tyrant, well known as a tyrant, okay, and after his court dates, he spent 20 years trying to rebrand himself as a philanthropist. Do you know, we know what happens with these charitable foundations. They're the best places to embezzle and launder money. Yeah, and he's damaged so many people with untested vaccines in third world countries, man. They hide when he comes. They're hiding, bro. They're running away from him. They figured him out a long time ago. You know, testing experimental drugs on vulnerable populations. Come on. And look how much land he's buying up. You know, he could feed, clothe, and house everyone on the planet all on his own. So that's how you know these people aren't really philanthropists, because there's hungry people. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Imagine if like you just sliced off like, I don't know, like 30% of what, they actually should be taxed, these billionaires, and just took that nice fat 30% of their billions and fed the world. Well, problem solved, right? Yep. But then they're all short 30%, and we can't have that. We can't have that.
Yeah, that's right. I remember it was a couple of years ago. I know it's 2017 at least. It's probably still the same. Apple owed more in tax than Britain's national debt. How did they get away with it? Imagine if we didn't pay tax. What happens if we don't pay tax, Mike? You've got the Gestapo chasing you across the world, don't you?
Yeah, Interpol will be after me from the across the pond. They're going to be like, Michael Strange, we're on to you, brother. I'll be like, damn it.
Yeah, you'll be like one of those terrorists hiding in a cave in Wales in a tin mine.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, again, like, tell me we don't live in the upside down. All this is backwards, and very on point that you said there with the science and the religion being reversed, right? It's literally becoming one thing and another in the same sentence, right? And so intentionally, I think it's because they want to control us. Like I said, like Jennifer suggested, I think they are bringing down their own religious principles because they want to reframe it and rebrand it in the name of this new scientific dogma. And that's where we're at, man. It's unfortunate, but then who are our overlords? Jeff Bezos, right? Bill Gates, Elon Musk. These are our new overlords, who, again, aren't not scientists at all, are they? It's sick, man. It's a sick world. It's a sick world. What do you think about that? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say that's the kind of... Well, I'm going to make a point after this to make everyone feel good. But that's what kind of scares me in some senses about... They don't know space stuff. And like you... that was a really great show where you pointed out those lasers they've got where they can like fake UFOs, where they make these plasma balls and move really fast. Okay. Look at the technology they've got. Even just the rod of God. You just drop a big, massive lump of metal. It hits terminal velocity. You don't even need a warhead, do you?
No.
You know, like you're dropping rocks on us. You know, you've got these overlords in the sky. I just imagine that. You know, so it's like Elysium. You know.
Yeah, I was actually reading just a couple days ago that apparently with those hypersonic weapons that you're discussing, those rods from God, that you can't even detect them on radar. So that shit will fall from heaven. It will land wherever the F they want it to land, and it will blow the fuck out of wherever it is, and you'll never see it coming. It'll be like snap your fingers, and you have inertia. You have just the inertia impact that is basically a nuclear weapon anyway. It's gross, man.
Yeah, you'll get about 3 seconds warning, and all it will be is a little...
That's it. I'll be like, what's that noise outside, guys? Do you hear that? And that'll be a wrap. It'd be like, well, God willing, we won't have tomorrow.
Just keep an eye on your dog. If your dog suddenly bolts, run after it. You know what I mean?
Did you know? Then you know. All right. So what about this other stuff? The quantum state. Do you think that this is a way into the woo? Right. So the brain has these powers that we can't quantify. That people have said a long time. The human brain's a magnificent thing. But science really has no clue what the hell's going on with that. But do you think that this quantum world, maybe this entanglement or the quantum immortality or whatever the hell this is, the wave particle duality, do you think there's something going on with the quantum world in our brain that, unfortunately, if you can quantify, the science can get between us and it, right? Cut us off from the woo, as it were. Do you think that's a possibility here?
Well, it's a really tough one to answer into, obviously, because we haven't got answers. But my speculation will be that perhaps I don't think so. I don't think so because, all right. Let me just round it off like this. I don't rate Earth tech versus universe tech. Do you know what I'm saying? This place has been around for goodness knows how long, right? And it's here. We're existing, right? So if this place didn't have fail-safes, it would have destroyed itself a long time ago. And we're not currently, being ruled by aliens or, Genghis Khan was the person that got closest to ruling the world. And I don't think it can be done. I just don't. And I think that's why we're getting all of this amazing stuff at once. I know I keep saying it, but I think it's a shotgun wedding to scare people. And my question is, why do you need to rush it? You could spend 50 years doing this. You could spend 100 years and we'd never notice. They've made it obvious for the likes of me and you to point at things all day long for the last year and a half. They made it so much easier for us to show stuff. Honestly, I think they're in a rush for something. I think they're on a time limit, I do. I don't know what it is, but it's like, say, when it comes to
2030, the Great Reset. Yeah. That's when that big comet's going to be in the orbit of Saturn-ish. I mean, it's weird, man. The synchronicity is weird. I think you're right. I think the big hurry is that they're on a timeline. I think there's a plan here. And unfortunately, like the more you look into what this plan may or may not be, it seems insidious. It seems grotesque, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. I mean, everyone's looking. I don't know. I'll go back to it, but I watched what looked like election fraud to me on live stream several times, and this, that, and the other. And then Time Magazine has the audacity to turn around and go, "Yeah, that did happen, but it's okay. It's good for democracy." You know what I mean? And it's like all bets are off now, aren't they? All bets are off. It's like, I can swear now, can't I? It's like, fuck you, we're just doing it,
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of it too, is that it's basically like the middle finger in our face. We know what's really going on, and they're just like, we're out of time. We have this goal, this plan, this date where we want the New World Order to be in effect. And of course, what does that mean? I mean, if you want to go back to geopolitics, that's the Chinese government. That's the CCP. That's exactly where they want us to be. They want us to be full spectrum control, and they want it as fast as possible. And so if it's going to be a long-term, multi-generational thing, we're out of time. Bill Gates, these guys, they're out of time. They're old. They don't have time for that shit. It needs to happen now. 2030. This is the Great Reset, man. You're going to own nothing, and you're going to enjoy it.
Right, but what happens when you rush things? What happens when you're doing an art project and it's supposed to take 12 hours and you took 11 hours and you're only halfway through? It's a bodge job. It's jimmy-rigged. It's crap. It don't get you any points. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it'll all backfire. I really do. And plus as well, if we're talking about possibly the existence of God and a creator, well, I'm pretty sure if there is, they've already got some evidence for it. And this and the other. I know there's a book about it that claims that the government's got evidence for that stuff. Like one of your callers mentioned, a lot of physicists are quite religious. And some of them are getting more and more religious the more they do physics because they're finding more and more evidence for a creator. So if that's the case, then whoever that is, or whatever's connected to that stuff, not going to let this fly, are they? You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not allowed. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'll say this as well. It's like they're so, you got to remember, there's real psychopaths in the world. There's real, and the deluded psychopaths and those kind of people are gone. And let's not forget the bloodlines. They've been inbreeding for a long time. What happens when you do that? Okay, it breeds in weakness to your systems. Yeah. If you don't keep a very rich system, if you keep specializing, it breeds in weakness. And that's why the Queen has got 2 cousins that are literally demented in a mental health home because of inbred too much. Do you know what I'm saying? So they might think they've got these genius plans, but the brains themselves are flawed. Do you know what I'm saying? And plus as well, intention counts for a lot. It really counts for a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think, honestly, I don't think they can do it. I know it might sound like I'm being complacent because I've still got my guard up and I'm still, you know what I mean? I feel like I've oh, this is all I've got to do. Just keep fighting. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy they can just take everything. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like Terence McKenna used to say, we mentioned the compass. If you've always got it set to weird, that's where the action's at. That's why they're terrified of people like us. Terrified. If they had it all locked down, they've got this amazing plan that's unstoppable. Why are they censoring people? You wouldn't need to.
You wouldn't need to.
Yeah.
Exactly. So exactly, you're exactly right. And if you go back in history too, censorship has been mostly in the long term ineffective, because the more you, as Princess Leia said to Darth Vader, right? The tighter you squeeze your fist, Lord Vader, the more systems slip through your fingers. And that's the way it goes. You can't control everybody. You can dream of controlling everybody and all the thoughts out there. But no, the more you squeeze it, the more people escape. And here we are trying to at least think in terms of what the future may bring us, because we see, right? They're like, well, never let a catastrophe go to waste. And here we are, right? Like 2 weeks, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, right? Here we are. Here we are. It's going to be 2 years.
You know what? It's still on our website, March 19th, 2020. It's on the government website. We have downgraded COVID-19 from a highly infectious, contagious disease. That's when they flatten the curve, right? I told a doctor, my local doctor. She says, oh, no, I don't know where you've got that. It sounds like somewhere off the internet. It's just off the government website. She says, oh, no, it's fake news. I said, it's off the government website. She says, well, it's not real. This is a doctor. This is...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Yeah. Rohan, you're welcome to stay. We got MJ on the line and we got Matt behind you. So hang tight if you got time. We're going to go to MJ. Okay. Anything else before we do that?
Yeah, No, go for it. Go.
Okay. You can hang out?
Yeah, man. I'll be around.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go to MJ. Hang tight, Matt. We're going to go to the phone first. We'll get to you shortly. Let's go to MJ in Virginia. Welcome to the show, my friend. Long time no talk. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing very well. What is on your mind tonight, my friend?
Well, I'm going to kind of go into what I actually don't know at this point in time, the topic. I thought it was like quantum mind control, like going into other realms or
you got it.
Worlds.
You got it. Yep.
Kind of thing.
And can science?
That's what you've been talking about?
Yeah. And can science step in between and intercept that connection and use it as a method of control? You got it.
Okay. Well, this is how it works. Because I've experienced some of this on my own. And what they do is someone that can, let's say, visually see with their own eyes, but they're using their psychic ability to bring together, let's say, a picture in the sky or something on the wall. And then what happens is that person would connect with everybody else's psyche or psychic ability or tap into their frequency so they can all see it together. But this one person generates that being able to like tap into them and give them a reading. Okay. What happens with that is they can tap into a group of people and everybody can watch the movie. Okay, is what you're talking about.
Right. Okay.
And then the next step would be because I have done this, but it's very basic. It's just stuff that it's very basic. It's nothing you can walk into. And I believe what they're talking about, instead of using machinery like the Stargate and because they do have portable machines that can open up a portal. It's a portable open upper thing they've got, and they can do these things. And the next step would be because I've had this happen to me in the last month or 2 months, 3 times in a row now, and it's accidental. Stuff happens. I've seen dark matter. Okay, the last thing I saw was dark matter. But what happens is then the next step would be to see it, and then you kind of walk up to that wall or walk up and kind of look, inside a little bit. And, of course, you're attaching all these other people. I think what they're looking for is to be able to walk through the veil. You can just simply take your physical body and walk through the veil. If you can finally open up that opening to see through to another world.
Okay. So you think, is that the goal? Is that the goal here of what's happening?
I think that's part of the goal. And part of it, they want control over it so they can infiltrate other areas. Like, it's always going to be about control in war. It's never a peaceful thing when they try to do this. It's always the scientific control and can we control it. We're really far behind in that area. I mean, we're babies compared to what's out there. But it's not a spiritual thing. I think it's more scientific control, expanding, another area, and possibly escaping this world in a sense. But I don't know why they'd want to do that. Because it would take a lot of time to develop that. And maybe they have people that have already developed it. I don't know. But that's what I've experienced so far. I've had a couple of things I saw in the reflection of my glass window, and everything outside the window disappeared, and I was watching something else totally different. And then once it was over with, the tree branches or whatever was outside, you could see it again. And that's what you're talking about.
So are you suggesting that you have been like hacked on a quantum level to maybe kind of intercept your ability to see through the veil? Is that what you're suggesting here? It's happened to you already?
Yeah, I'm suggesting it has happened.
Okay.
The other day I was on my front porch and I was in a super relaxed mode. And I'm just sitting there, it's like you had you smoked 3 joints or something, you're just out of it. And I happened to look across the front yard out towards the road. Everything was gone. There was no trees, no grass, no nothing. All it was this wall of dark matter, and it had a webbing, kind of this round webbing kind of stuff going, and it was moving from left to right, and it just moved through. And I'm just watching it like, okay, there was nothing there. So, I was looking at it, and then I didn't get upset. It's like you're looking at it like, I got to see it. So I looked away and looked back, and suddenly the trees and the grass and everything was back in place. But for a few moments, I was seeing something else.
Wow. Okay. So what's happening? You think they've cracked into this?
So
and we're in trouble. We're already in trouble. Then they're ahead of us. They're ahead of the game.
Well, we're not. See, they're trying to control it, and that's where the problem comes in. You're going to have somebody who can actually tap into it consciously, because that's what I'm working on that. But it takes time to do that, and they want to control it, and that's going to be the problem. It's not something you can actually control. It's got to be haphazard. It opens, you're there. And once you learn the process or learn the path to it and learn the mechanics to it, because there is mechanics to all this, even though it's just energy and psychic and all this stuff, there's still mechanics to it. Once you learn that path, you can open that up. But there's the emotional factor. If somebody starts pressuring you, you may not want to do it, or you just don't do it because of the pressure of it. See, that's the one thing they're not factoring in is human emotions, human independence. So it's going to be difficult for them to get that done unless it's super soldier kind of thing, to where they have control over their minds or control that part of the mind that will open it up, and they can control that person's mind to do it.
Right, which is, again,
that's the only other option.
That would be your full spectrum control. So like I'm saying, like we've discussed tonight, there is a way to fight back here. If you're aware of what's going on, we still have our autonomy, and unless you hand it over willingly by not understanding what's happening, we can be in a good way here. There's a way to fight back. Am I right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I'm conscious of that already. I mean, it's happened a few times, so I'm conscious of it. I don't speak about it to anybody at all. Even people I know that, other readers that I know out in Arizona and, around the country, I don't talk about it to them because it's going to be heard except here. But I mean, if you talk about it enough, they're going to know it. Somebody's going to know it. And it's like suddenly it starts getting around. So I just keep it quiet. I'm not talking like I have some great talent, but it just seems to be happening to me. I'm just very relaxed and accepting of it. Okay, let's, try it again, see what else happens kind of thing. But it builds up through being clairvoyant. And then you start using your eyes open while you're like in your mind's eye, you're seeing things, and then you open your eyes up, and then your third eye sort of becomes like a projector, in a sense, is what it starts working on. And then after a while, then the picture, like, another world, it gets projected back to you, in a sense, like you're watching the TV at that point. Something's coming back to you. And that's what they're trying to ultimately do. They're going to have, they may be able to get that done, but you're talking more super soldier stuff. That's what that really is. And a lot of my understanding, a lot of the super soldier stuff has not gone by the wayside, but it's being done in a simpler way because they've advanced with it. Okay, and they're able to keep the human in their body, not taking the soul out, but they can keep it in their body. So they're tapping into more what the humans about, because we have a lot more power than we know. I wish people would just realize how much power we do have. But that's part of what they're trying to do. And if you're conscious of it and you're off someplace, you can teach other people to do that. Once you open them up to it, they're open to it. Then you can train them to do it. But it's in a sense that, you have that human factor that, like I said, the independence and the ability to say no. It's easily fought. Because if you have the ability to do that, you can see what they're doing.
Right, exactly. So it goes two ways, doesn't it? It goes two ways. You could weaponize that against them as well. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like catching them coming in the back door type of situations. You're like, hey, wait a minute. This is my house. What are you doing here? Right? Like if you're aware.
Oh, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense, man. It makes sense. We got other calls we got to get to, my friend. Anything else while we got you on the phone? Always great stuff, MJ. It's been a long time. Where you been? What's going on, man?
Hanging out. Just changes. Since I haven't, I was talking about not getting abducted anymore. Just being here.
Okay.
And just, I'm able to be here. I'm able to put my attention here, and things have gotten better for me here, simplified, and I have more structure, I guess you can say. I don't know, but that's what I've been doing. So.
And it's been a good thing, right? That sounds like a good thing to me.
Oh yeah, it's been a great thing. Trust me, I'm getting sleep. I'm getting constructive. I'm doing things. Before you're just out there. You can't get your focus here. And I've been left alone for a little while, and it's like my diet's gotten a lot better. I feel better. My heart rate's way down. There's a whole bunch of things health-wise that are happening that's actually positive. It's been productive.
Nice. Good for you. I'm glad to hear you're in a better spot then. So that means you'll call in more often, right? I love the MJ calls. I appreciate it.
Possibly.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'll try and talk about things interesting enough to make you call in. Thank you, MJ. Thank you for listening. Thanks for all the great chat. Thanks for the fantastic calls. We'll talk to you soon, my friend. Have a great night, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bro. Talk to you soon. There you go. There's MJ. MJ from Virginia. Good stuff. Every time he calls, he's always teaching me something, and that's good, right? That's exactly why we're here, to kind of get together and teach each other about whatever it is that can be taught. All right, so let's go to hop on in, Matt. You can do it, buddy. Watch this. I gave you the power. Just jump into the on air, and you'll be on here with Mike and Rohan. I'm gonna keep my hands off and watch this. I gave Matt the power. Jump on in. Just double click the on air, and you'll be on the show. All right, so we're talking about quantum consciousness, right? Basically, so this scientific paper has decided that they're kind of moving into this new realm of science, meaning that is the brain sort of entangled in a quantum way, in a quantum manner, with the woo, let's say, with the veil, as MJ described there. I got you, Matt. There you go. Welcome to the show, Matt. So is there a way that this is actually does it matter? Does this matter, and can they control it? I think that's part of the problem here. Is if we have somebody trying to sneak into our brain through this quantum entanglement or whatever the hell this happens to be, we have a problem, don't we? We have a big problem, and that's very much like we've discussed on the show. Great call from Jennifer earlier, said that, like science is the new religion, isn't it? And it seems like they're trying to find God, not through maybe finding God, but maybe through blocking us from finding that, whatever that happens to be to us, right? I think that's the weirdness. I don't think she said exactly that, but poor paraphrase, let's say. Yeah, great calls. Let's go back to Matt. Matt, you there? What's up, buddy? Welcome to the show. Matt in California. Whenever you're ready, my man. We also got Rohan here. So we're taking your phone calls tonight. If you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here. Come say hi. And we're talking about all kinds of weirdness tonight. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Matt,
hey, sorry.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Still learning the Discord.
It happens. How are you, man?
Good. Good show tonight. Lots of stuff to talk about. More than 3 hours worth.
Yeah, right.
But good stuff. So I just want to say, this with quantum theory and things, we all learn at different paces. So if it's overwhelming for people, I understand it, because I remember the first time I watched a documentary on quantum mechanics or quantum theory, and it like blew my mind, right? And so I learned about it, but I'm saying we all learn at a different pace. So if you have no idea what we're talking about, start from somewhere, and we all gotta learn. And we all have to keep learning is the point of all this, because there's no even now, like, I still don't fully understand quantum theory or quantum mechanics. I'm just just studying, and I'm learning about it all the time. But we just gotta keep learning, and we gotta keep going forward is the whole point of all this, right? Talking about it. So anyways, I want to just talk about real quick. I want to do a real quick exercise with you guys. Exercise. You don't have to do it, but let's do this. Okay, so I want everybody listening. Everybody point to your brain. Okay, everybody. It's easy, right? You point to your brain in your skull, where your head is. Easy, but now I want everybody now point to your mind. Now everyone just got confused, huh? Because there's how do you point to your mind? Where is your mind located? Where do your thoughts come from? So I think this is just an interesting way to think about this whole our brain is like organ in our body. But our mind is like, what is it? It's all around us. It's a part of our auric field. And auric field is like, you peel it back like layers, like an onion. The mental body is part of that field. Another interesting thing with this is the Egyptians. So the Egyptians, they didn't embalm people, they mummified people. And when they did this, they took their organs out and they put their organs in these things called canopic jars. And there's a reason for that. There has to be some sort of spiritual connection or some sort of reason why they did this. But it's interesting to me, the Egyptians, they took your brain out too. And I think that's really interesting to me. Like, how did they know that your brain was important enough to take it out and put it in these canopic jars? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, well, interesting that it goes back so far, and so even the Egyptians are way back, but there are cultures further back than the Egyptians too. Yeah, I don't know. I think back to your exercise there with you point to your brain and then point to your mind. I think it's the same thing. I think they knew. I think they understood the same concept, right? It's like. So like we can point to our eyeballs and say, look, this is how we see, right? Because clearly we cover them and we can't see. So we know what our eyeballs do. And so it seems like our head is like basically the epicenter of everything, because we speak from it, we breathe from it, right? Like everything is based in our head. So I think in an ancient structure and thinking in terms of like that, I think it would be easy to figure, but probably harder to maybe pull the brain out of the nose with a hook, as they suggest. So I don't know on that part, but again, right? So I think weirdly enough, you bring up the Egyptians and mummification. So they removed all the organs. It wasn't just the brain; it was everything: the heart, the kidneys, everything, the lungs. They pulled everything out of the body because I think it was a nod to that immortality, right? Meaning that someday, maybe if that tissue survived, they didn't realize it at the time, but maybe. Right? One day science will be able to bring back Ramses or something. Ramses the Great. Who knows, right? Like this is the type of weird stuff. If you're buried in the dirt, you turn into a skeleton, there's no DNA left, well, there's no bringing you back. However, if they put it in those jars, canopic jars as you described, well, maybe, just maybe, and they preserve it just right, maybe resurrection is around the corner. You never know, man. That's a good point there.
I just think that, there's some sort of spiritual reason or some, we don't know. There's some reason why they did that. I think it's interesting that they took your brain out too, just showing like how important it was. But when you think about it, where does everything come from? So I think that's just what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Yeah, good stuff. Good point. Rohan, you're here as well. Anything on that while we got you in here? Matt's got always good stuff to talk about, and I love it.
Yeah. In fact, I just posted a thing the other day. Got thinking about. Do you remember that the famous Renaissance? I think it's Renaissance. The creator of Adam, where the famous God, and he's leaning down and touching his finger. Remember that? That painting. It's a really classical one where God's leaning down. You know, the two fingers are touching, but you notice God's throne is the shape of the brain. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to remember the painting. Yeah. Okay, so he's reaching down. Okay, please explain. Explain to me like I'm 5. Let's try that.
Okay, so you got Adam lying down, and he's kind of pointing his finger, and God's kind of leaning down from the sky to touch his finger. But it's kind of got a red background behind him. That's like his throne, but it's the shape of the human brain. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I never noticed that.
Yeah, I never noticed that either. Interesting. Anybody know the name of that painting?
The Creator of Adam, it's called, I think.
Is that what it's called? All right, I'll put it up. Put it up. Yeah, so I don't know about that one in particular, but I'll pull it up. But okay, so meaning that what's happening in that then? So it's God pointing into the brain with that in the
no, it's just touching. No, it's just literally it's just reaching for Adam. It looks like making a connection, just touching each other's finger is all. You know, as if to say, I don't know what it's representing. I just always thought that was interesting. That it's the shape of the brain. You know,
it is actually.
I don't know if you've sort.
I'm putting it up.
I don't know if you've got Stargate as well, because they used to have them canopic jars where they found some that was it was an advanced suspended animation technology, but they surrounded it in clay so it looked regular. And inside, instead of an organ, they found one of the symbiotes. They go, oh, there are aliens, like a little snake, and it will jump inside you and take over you, but it's conscious. Because it's like a little snake, it can't really do a lot. So it jumps into people's bodies, takes over your body, suppresses the host, and just lives for hundreds of years, and then just jumps in another body. But they keep gathering memories over centuries and centuries. So these people just, do you know what I mean? It's crazy if you watch Stargate. But yes, it's kind of weird, scary stuff, isn't it? You know. But talking about, sorry.
No, go ahead. I've got the painting up. Just wanted to tell you that it's up on the screen.
Yeah, I see the painting now. I'm looking at the painting. It does look like a brain. That's a trip. I didn't know that.
It's madness, isn't it? It says there's all this stuff embedded in there, you know. And that Dick Larson. First time I ever called the Fringe, there's a guy called Dick Larson on, and he was talking about how some of these masters, like we heard of Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. He says they're all part of the same group. You know, and you think about it, actually, what did the Buddha do? He taught about the mind of God. Then 500 years later, you got Jesus talking about the love of God, the heart of God. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's why I don't buy all this. They're going to be able to lock us all up, and because I just don't buy it. I just can't because there's too much more stuff. And let's not forget, the human brain is the most complicated thing in the known universe. There's no way they've licked that. And the human neocortex is officially the most astounding reorganization of a major organ in a higher animal in the entire fossil record, and nobody can explain it. Where's the missing link? There isn't one. You know what I'm saying? There isn't one. So they don't know where it come from.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think that's why I said, like, we gotta keep learning. There's no final answer. This is an ongoing investigation, through science. For this, we have to all keep learning.
Agreed, 100%. And so I like that. So, like I said, I've been pretty deep into the quantum mechanics and the way that stuff works. And so when I bring it up, especially maybe kind of going in depth with some of the entanglement stuff, or the double slit test and the observer effect, I don't know if people have gone that deep into it. So it seems like sometimes I might be speaking to a bunch of folks who are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm kind of cringy when I bring it up and like hesitant, but you're right. I mean, how do you know about it if people don't bring it up and talk about it? So maybe it piques somebody's interest, or maybe they're really familiar with it. Now they go back and revisit the new science as it's, kind of come up. It's a good thing. So I'm with you, man. Thank you for saying that. It makes me less insecure about what I'm doing here. Not that it's insecure, but
you gotta start from somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets deep, the quantum theory, the quantum mechanics, because even after, you can sit there all day, and all the scientists can sit here all day, and it's like, we don't really know. even, you know, how do you explain all this stuff? You can't even explain it. We just know it's a science, and that's it. It's kind of like dark matter, you know. We get into dark matter, it's just, there's no final answer, you know. We just gotta keep trucking, keep pushing for the answers, and just keep talking about it. And that's the whole thing, because you know, you won't know about human consciousness and things like that. You won't know about the afterlife or anything like that till you die.
Boom.
For sure.
Right. That's
you've hit an amazing point there, you know, because that's the amazing point. Even if scientists and physicists and all those, you know, people, if they managed to figure out every single thing in the known universe and they had it all in a book and they knew all of that knowledge, which they don't, but if they did, guess what? That's only 10% of what everything's made of.
Yeah, you can still be wrong.
Yeah, you can't know the other 90%. And this is the thing about the work of Nassim Haramein. We're only... Look, what's the first law of physics? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. We're in a universe that's expanding, so where's the contracting part? We don't see it. We can't see it. We can't see the contracting part, and that's the majority of the stuff. It's impossible for us to see it. We don't have the tools, we can't do it. It's made of not matter, so we can't be there. You know what I'm saying? And the reason we don't feel that contracting part is because it's in perfect equilibrium, and the shape for it is the vector equilibrium of Buckminster Fuller. You know, Nassim Haramein's licked this stuff. It's just that the people that happen to catch up, you know, all of these scholars are on tenure. They can't turn around and say, I've been talking crap for 30 years. Here's a refund. You know what I mean? They won't do it, will they?
No.
It blow my mind, Ryan.
Yeah, Rohan's good, man. He doesn't even realize how good he is. he just goes, and you're like, holy shit! How do I? Wait, stop! I want to talk about something you said 10 minutes ago. Stop! It just comes like a machine gun. You're amazing. So, like I said, so many amazing people, so many amazing thoughts. That's what's this show has become. Who's who, right? Like unbelievable, just the way it starts. Like I said, I'm even insecure sometimes about the way it starts, and then you guys just come on and take over, and it's like, holy shit! Like I'm the one being entertained now. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys are all so damn smart. I kind of feel stupid sometimes, but it's okay, right? We get together. It's not a competition. I always say this: it's not a competition. If we're all pointing in the same direction, and that is magnetic truth, then we're helping each other, and that's all good, right?
That's it, and we're triggering each other as well. I find that a lot of this stuff it's all in flux for me until somebody makes a point, and then I can condense it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of need other people to make these points to trigger me to roll on. You know what I'm saying? Can't do it on my own, so we need each other.
Amen.
Part of the conversation.
Amen to that. Yeah. So what do you think, Matt, about the actual that quantum link between the brain and the woo, right? Do you think that there is a way that science will basically step in the middle and take control of that at some point? Do you think that this is really about?
I say no, because like I said, I'm more about the woo, right? I'm more about the out there weird stuff. But I have a thing is my belief is it's a theory is it's a holographic universe or a divine mind. So we're all thoughts in a divine mind, and our thoughts are like holograms inside of that divine mind. It gets really crazy, but I'm more down for, like, not in my lifetime, but maybe in the next couple lifetimes, of figuring a way to put a human consciousness into a computer chip and then putting it into a robot. Just because I feel a robot, I wouldn't feel pain, like my body feels pain, you know. Be a robot and not feel pain. But there's pros and cons to both of that, you know, because it could be cool to be your consciousness in a robot where you wouldn't feel pain, but then what are the repercussions for that, you know?
Well, let me throw it out there. Does that mean you could have an orgasm? If you can't feel pain, right? It means you can't feel pleasure. Am I right? Just throwing it out there. Ash and his organism. If you take away the organism, well, that's what George Orwell said, didn't he?
Yeah, you got me there, Mike.
I'm just saying, right? There's a pro, just like you said, pros and cons to all that. Yeah, I don't know. But I think go ahead.
I think too is why is science talking about this now? I think it was Jennifer talking about this. Why is science talking about this? This is this is more spiritual, more religion, more it's personal to each individual person. Whereas now all of a sudden science is talking about it. What's going on there? That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. That's interesting to me too. What are they trying to do?
Yeah, like kind of step back from what I'm even talking about and look at the larger why. Why is this even happening? And why do they care? Why would they care? So imagine the power. I think this is it. This is the crux of this. Imagine the power you could derive through science if you were able to actually, through the conscious mind, contact the divine or God or woo or whatever you want to call it, right? However you define that, the veil. Imagine the power there. So once again, right? Is it really about making people that are paralyzed walk again? Or is it about something else entirely?
Yeah, like science and religion, it's like two different, how do you, it's kind of the same, but it's kind of not. There's similarities and difference, but yeah, science and religion, it usually you don't talk about it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've often related that to if you say spirituality instead of religion, then we can say Western science needs to merge with Eastern science, or rather, what does Western science do? It seeks to understand the material world, but the Far East, India and all that, they were doing civilization way before Europeans, and they've mastered space and time. So if you can take the material sciences with the space and time, we should have the whole thing.
Like mix them together? I get it.
Yeah. Which is where it's going. Look at Wim Hof.
Yep. Yeah, Western science is kind of going backwards.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes, right? It's like we said, anybody have the really crappy doctor you go to and all they want to do is give you a pain pill, right? And then some other doctors get arrested for only giving pain pills. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, none of this makes sense at all. Or the doctor that has no time to talk to you. They just want to bill your insurance and move you the fuck out and bring the next person in. Like this. Yeah. This is what's happening out there. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes any sense at all. But well, here we are.
Are you familiar with it? There was an Italian doctor. His name escapes me. He got struck off. Right, lost his license, and he had to go somewhere like Lithuania, and they accepted him because what he was doing. You can't believe you're going to fire a guy for this and take his medical license. He was curing cancer with baking soda. I don't know what type, but so they fired him. Take his license. So he's cured a cancer with baking soda, and it don't cost much. Get rid of him.
Right. Yeah. What's up?
That's a whole other conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Axel? I see you out there. Axel says, Roger Penrose has been talking about this stuff for decades. And yep, exactly. We started with him, actually. That was the beginning of the conversation tonight. Just very brief, just mentioning him, but this is where the conversation began. A lot here. There's a lot here. We got just about running out of time, guys. So final thoughts from you. You guys are welcome to stay till the end, of course. I'm going to bring on Jay, and we'll do the outro with Jay. But final thoughts on this before we move on to Jay?
I just think, we just got to keep learning and keep teaching each other, teach what we learn. That's what this is all about, is just going forward. And that's what this is all about. So I'm going to go. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for the call. Have a great night. Rohan.
Yeah.
Rohan.
Yeah, I just want to sign off with where you made that lovely compliment of, Rohan just goes and he's blowing my mind. Well, that happens to me as well. When I was listening to Jennifer, oh man, she was Sapio in my head, man. I was gushing. I can't even remember what she said. It was that much. I'm going to have to listen back. So yeah, thanks, Jennifer.
There you go.
Are you married?
Yeah, right. and everybody else. Jack says, we know Rohan is fire. Appreciate it, man. Like I said, you're welcome to stay. Let's go to Jay. Jay in New York, welcome to the show. What's on your mind, my man? How are you tonight?
Well, it's definitely troubled.
Yeah, right. Shit, like it seems like, we've done some really dirty stuff on this show, talking about those things, but now we've taken it to a new level tonight, haven't we?
We have. Yeah, but it's awesome. It's like, we say all the time, Matt was saying, it's like, opportunity to learn, just let it think about something a different way for a little while, and wow, we're going crazy here. It's, I'm not in a bad way, but a good way, One of the things that really worried me about it is Rowan mentioned the fact that they've got a timeline. And I was like, dude, come on, now you're really blowing it up. Like Kelly with the black goo oozing out the ears,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, maybe they do, because the 2 weeks that, all of the elephants in the room, that we've got to be careful about and talk about. Science claims the soul/consciousness may be explained through quantum physics instead. And it's like, oh my goodness, that hurts a little. No, I don't know. I mean, it's the synchronicities and stuff like that are going on with all of it. It's like really, I find it odd, even in other things, the little kids and their experiments with their selves and what they do and how they learn and their interactions with each other and the things that they're in. Like today, they were watching ants move their eggs out of one nest to another. What are they doing? Why are they carrying that sand? And I'm like, that's not sand. That's larva. What's that? Well, that's a baby ant. It's bigger than the ant, it was a weird conversation. It was just like, we have these awesome conversations about completely different stuff all the time. And to me, it seems like they all have this little hint where they come back together and work, with each other. And it's, maybe we're on the verge of discovering it, maybe it's the Great Reset is actually in us. We'll have a day of enlightenment, or I don't know. I don't want to, but
give me back the good old days. Give me back.
I like my house. I like my freedom. I like my I don't want to be possessionless and happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
No, this is the thing, right? Change is scary, but the problem is that this change is not like a happy thing. I don't think, right? It's becoming a contentious fight for our consciousness, fight for our brains, fight for, again, like even you can take it to the woo level, or you could take it back to just the basic, mass media brainwash. It's clear and obvious what they want, right? And they want that full spectrum control, no matter how they have to get it. That's the thing, right? No matter how, they're going to go after it. And so great points tonight saying that, well, why? What's the timeline? Why now? Things like this, right? Why are religious people interested in science if not to get closer to God, to swap the old religion for the new religion and maintain their seat of power? There's a lot here, right? There's a lot that, again, I hadn't even considered when I began talking about this tonight. But like I said, all of the great callers tonight have kind of led this in other amazing directions, and that's why we do it this way. Like I said, right? Would you think about how boring this would be if I have like 25 links I always pull up, because I know the conversation could go in like 10 different directions. So I kind of have some of that prepared. Like when Beechwood brought up the guy with the weighing the soul, I already had it. I was going to talk about it. So sometimes I have that, but how boring would it be? It was like me for an hour reading from these fucking articles. You know what I mean? Like, that's boring. Like, sure, fine. Some of it's interesting, but fuck's sakes, listen to what all the amazing shit you guys said tonight. It's not even close to that crap I would have read. So, like I said, I feel blessed to have all of you guys as part of this, because holy shit. Holy shit. Here we are.
It's the little catalyst, the conversation, like you become prepared with different links and stuff like that. Someone says something and then you're right there and, you skim through it and you know about it a little bit. And you ask just that one right question as somebody who calls in that's heading that right direction. That, now we're all moving together down a road, but, like in the Discord, all the awesome stuff. And that thing that Rowan posted with God and the brain and the brain-shaped throne, it was like, wow, the more I look at that, the more it looks like a brain.
And there's God, like all those people gland smashed in there. There's all the people smashed into the brain. Oh, God. I'm bringing it up again because that's amazing. Oh, shit.
I've looked at that tons and tons of times. I love artwork. I really do. There was a time where I wanted to paint that on the ceiling of the building that I own, for fun. I actually got a projector and art slides. We were figuring out how we were going to do it. But, yeah, That's nuts. That's just absolutely nuts.
It's a brain-shaped throne that seems to be a cape, but it's packed with people. What the fuck? Now you've done it, Rohan. You mind-fucked me tonight. I don't know what to
do. Now you say it like that, it does sound a bit Lovecraftian if you don't look at it. You know?
That's what it looks like. I'm going to put it back up on the stream. That's what it looks like, doesn't it? All right. Yeah, good stuff as always. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Now let's try and I'm gonna try and point you in a direction here. We have the ability to fight back, don't we? I mean, meaning, again, not violence. I'm not saying the word violence. I'm saying that we can reject this takeover outright, can we not? We can stand up together and say, no, we don't want this 2030 agenda. We don't want what you're trying to feed us. We don't want to own nothing and be happy. We don't want these things. And we could do that peacefully, am I right? Do you guys still have faith? Do you have faith that can happen?
I do. We could even switch it to like bite back or whatever. But that was the thing. That was the point. I'm glad you said that. That was the point I was going to sort of make. And I think somebody's just mentioned it. Free will. Free will. I really think they have to get us to want it. They have to get us to kind of agree to it, or at least the majority. Do you know what I'm saying? Free will. It's in the Matrix, and we all know about free will. It's the gift. That's our gift. That's our gift from God, isn't it? Free will. So they've got to bypass it. They've got to make you want it. In fact, you heard my phone text message go off earlier. It turns out to my mate, and he's just put, Sky News apparently have said, COVID-19 has been linked to a substantial drop in intelligence. Isn't it? So then to make you want to get the jab. Oh, you're stupid if you don't get the jab. And I bet my bottom dollar it'll be the opposite way around.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm gonna refrain from responding to that in the definitive because, well, you know.
Yeah, that's in the shoot the breeze, Rohan.
You know what we're up against here. So I'm not going to say yes or no on that. But
it's Sky News. It's Sky News. That's what they said. I'm just speculating. Anyway, yeah, but
just speculating.
Yeah. Viruses are deadly. You have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly. That we all know that viruses are deadly. We all have to be careful. Oh shit!
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Oh shit! Look what I just did.
Oh, I'm touching my face right now.
Yeah, make sure it's antibacterial because antibacterial is specifically designed to kill viruses.
Right. Exactly. Except now all the super bugs are immune to all that shit. So congratulations. Here we are. I don't know. There's no easy answers, right? It seems like no matter what you do, you're kind of fucked. But I don't like to leave it at that. I like to say that I think we have. I have faith in humanity. I have faith in, again, like I said, we came from nowhere. Like literally, we just started this damn show as like, well, let's see what the fuck happens. And look what the fuck happened, right? Like we're collecting some of the smartest people out there, man. It's crazy. Like I'm not kidding. It's crazy. I'm just like blown away every night by all the amazing calls and all the amazing chats. So it's a good thing. I think, like I said, at this point, I couldn't even quit if I wanted to. Because you know what I'd be missing out on? All of this. Holy shit, man. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
And there's your hope. There's your hope as well. There's your hope, right? I heard this UK doctor say this in a park talking to people. He says, don't forget, you keep going. You do your due diligence. And once somebody sees something and starts questioning it and sees it's not right, they never go back. So we just keep collecting people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Bringing more people into the fold that get it. Like there's something out there to get. And again, like the craziest part of this is we're not some revolutionary thing here. Like, holy shit, we just want to get together and be like, hey, look, there's a positive way out of this. But before we can even talk about that, we have to understand what the problem is. And so that's right. That is not revolutionary in any way. That's just people getting together, having a conversation. As simple as it sounds, right? Man, we go off the rails sometimes, right? Off the quantum into the woo. And that's what we did tonight. But holy shit, all the amazing information we got from all you guys. Yeah. Let's do it. Jay, actually, Rohan, sometimes you have a quote. You got a quote? Let's do the quote before the quote if you got one. Sometimes you drop a quote on
Actually, I've got a rhyme.
All right,
I've got a really short rhyme.
Let's do it, buddy.
Based off what Jay just said. Okay, right. These days, rooms are filled with gorillas and elephants, but let's not speak of it. The new normal is facts are irrelevant.
Love it, dude.
Amen to that. There's the rhyme. All right, Jay, I'm going to play some music. Let's get the fuck out of here. Remember, guys, Troubled Minds, Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. God willing, we have tomorrow because, well, as we know, it's not entirely up to us. But we're going to keep punching, doing the best for ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. And that's the most important thing. So let's continue that. Jay, outro music. Let's rock it. Here we go, buddy. Boom.
Sometimes we need a bridge, and sometimes we are the bridge. No one I know has escaped troubled waters, rough seas, and challenging, scary days. There are times in our lives when we could use a little help, and other times when we were given the chance to help for someone else. It really doesn't matter where you are right now. What matters is that you remember we are strong together, and taking a hand is just as important as offering one. And that's Paul Bolton, maybe? I can't pronounce that. Boynton.
Boynton? I know that. Where do I know that name? Who is that guy?
I don't know who he is. I haven't Googled him yet. That just popped in there. I told you, they just pop in. The synchronicity of it all.
They're coming after you, man. Now the good quotes are just finding you, Jay. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Jay. That is good shit as always. Thank you, Rohan, for the off-the-cuff rhyme. You guys are amazing. All the great calls tonight, all of the great thoughts, all the great chat. Everybody out there listening, I see you. I see you out there. You don't think I do? I see you out there. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thanks for being part of a larger conversation that is not just about some asshole trying to sell a book. All right? That doesn't mean I won't be some asshole trying to sell a book someday, but, well, let's just say for now, there's no assholes right now trying to sell books on this show.
That'd be a long book, Mike.
That'd be a long book. I don't even need to, because exactly, dude, like, think about it. Go back to the beginning of this show. It's better than a book. Yeah, again, we don't need to. You guys are the best. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for being part of this. God willing, we have tomorrow. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Rolf, for the amazing calls tonight. Matt, too many to list. There are just too many amazing people to list. Please, keep calling. Thank you for being interested in the things I'm talking about. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I come onto this show and I'm like, fuck, this is going to suck tonight. And then all y'all show up and I'm like, holy crap, this was amazing. You see what happens? It's not about me. It's about us. Like I said, I'm me, you're you, but together, we're us. So let's continue. Let's keep it up. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for listening. At the end, like I always say, be sure, be strong, be true. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. What's up, guys? Time to howl. Make some noise. Ow! Ow! There we go. Yeah! Now we're talking. We got the outro howls. All right. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. And if anybody wants to hang out and chat, we'll probably be in the Shoot the Breeze for a little bit. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's a perfect time. Come say hi. It's not on the air. You can just come talk to maybe Jay's going to be there, maybe Rohan, maybe myself, maybe you. You never know. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here. Come hang out and say hi. Thanks again, everybody. You're the best. Good night. We'll talk to you soon, God willing.